CBS Sports.
High drive, center field, hit the wall, grand slam. This is magnificent.
Got a fantasy question? Email fantasybaseball@cbsi.com. Get ready to win your league.
Where fantasy becomes reality.
Now here's Frank, Scott, Chris, and Adam.
Who's ready for a live Roto Salary Cap Draft? Welcome into Fantasy Baseball today. Frank Sample joined by Scott White and Chris Towers. Depending on when you are listening or watching this, happy Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, 3/16. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all that are out there. Live 5x5 rotisserie salary cap draft today with a standard $260 budget that we are playing out with some heavy hitters. Obviously, Scott, Chris, and myself. RJ White, our manager, Tim McLeod, Beat-On from Razzball, Nick Mimikos, hope I said that right, Garrett Atkins, David Doak, Chris Mitchell, and some guy named Adam Azer. I'm not really sure how he got in here. He's
never heard of him.
He's a fantasy football guy. Wait, what's that?
Oh my goodness gracious.
And now, welcoming to the podcast.
Wow.
What up, Mr. Azer? How you doing, buddy?
Trying to find a player that hit like one home run last year because you said heavy hitters. So I'm trying to be like, well, I'm Nick Madrigal.
Oh,
yeah.
He didn't have a home run last year, did he?
Even better.
You might have more muscle mass than Nick Madrigal, actually.
That's bad. You guys called him a sleeper. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to have fun. I've got a new acronym that I want to try after Tap Hap AMC last year. And I just going to have fun. I'm going to wing it tonight.
We are retiring Tap Hap AMC today here on the podcast. And once you get one of the players of your new acronym, you can bring it up and let us know what it means, describe it. And I'm sure that will be everyone's strategy this year for salary cap drafts. Of course, Scott and Chris are here on the podcast as well. It's going to be a really fun one. If you are watching along, much like we did our head-to-head points mock draft last week, I will have my draft board up for everyone to see. So when I am nominating a player or bidding on a player, you'll be able to watch that live and see my process. See if I'm annoying with it. Do I wait until there's 1 second left and then jump in on some bids? Or do I just kind of jump in and throw guys out at what I think they're worth? We'll see.
It's gonna be warped by the fact we're podcasting live during this, right? Like, it's a good thing Adam is here to help fill the silence when a couple of us have a good volley going. I'm sure that's going to be necessary.
I'm going to ask you guys a lot of questions that I hopefully will help people, but it's been weird to be on the other side because almost all of my knowledge comes from listening to the podcast. I almost made it through all of the position previews. I didn't quite get to all of them, but I've been reading, I've been cramming. I feel like I'm ready to go, but you're going to have to answer some questions for me. So hopefully I think it'll be helpful for a lot of people who are not experts.
Hopefully you learned something while listening to the position previews, Adam, because I basically went back and listened to how you've done them in years past, and I just tried to model them after that. So
thank you. You guys were great. No, you guys were great. Honestly, it was very helpful.
Before we get to the actual salary cap draft, let's just quickly promote a few things. FBT listeners, we want you to compete with us in our bracket challenge game. Scott, Chris, and I will be in there, and we want you to join us as well. The link to join is cbssports.com/FBT brackets. And the winner not only gets a $100 gift card to Paramount Plus, but an entry into our For the People Listener League, a 16-team head-to-head categories draft the winners of that will be announced next Thursday. So continue to send in your league submissions. We have appreciated those. Lots of really good ones so far. And who enters just one pool? If you're doing a bracket challenge, you can also create a group to compete against your friends and fill out your bracket for the chance to win a Nissan Rogue and a trip to the 2022 Final Four. You can play on the CBS Sports app, or again, you can join up against us. The link for that is cbssports.com/FBT brackets. And just a quick reminder that our Fantasy Baseball Today draft prep guide is free and is available now. Chris put a lot of hard work into it, and you can find all of our rankings, salary cap values, draft strategies, tiers, and so much more. The link for that is cbssports.com/FBB draft kit. Once you get to that page, just drop your email address in there, and you'll get it in your inbox in no time. All righty, Scott. I think we are ready to fire this bad boy up, and I believe Mr. Azer has the first nomination.
Wow.
You do, yeah. So I like to get some money off the board with a player that I don't want. A great player, absolutely, but not one of the first rounders that I am targeting. I'm going to nominate Trey Turner. The default is $1. I'll just go ahead and put $20 in there and let people have at it. But I'd rather have Trevor Story, so I'm going to let the market get set a little bit with Trey Turner.
So here's a question. Are we worried about Trey Turner's stolen bases if, in fact, he does bat second or third for the Nationals?
I was going to ask that question.
Because I've been thinking about this recently with, the talk of Victor Robles batting leadoff, and I think he probably will steal fewer bases if he doesn't bat leadoff.
Agreed.
But he may not bat second for even, more than a couple of weeks.
And like Scott has said all along, just because Victor Robles is batting leadoff in the spring, it doesn't mean that he's going to stick there. They want that to be a thing. I think that as Trey Turner is growing into his power a little bit, they want him to be more of a run producer. So that's why they have him in the middle of that lineup. But if Victor Robles is not performing, that of course could change. If he stays, if Trey Turner stays batting third all year, I think it's probably going to be more of a 25 steal guy than the potential 30 or 35 plus that we have seen in years past. But we have a bit of a bidding war here. Trey Turner up to $43 already.
Yeah, I've got an aggressive price on him. And he's only $2 less than Ronald Acuna and Mookie Betts, who are my top values. But that was still pricier than my value for him.
Yeah, Scott and I both have Trey Turner at $37 based on standard 5x5 Roto salary cap values, and Chris has him up at $42. So Nick Mimikos wins the first player on the board. Trey Turner goes for $43. Scott White, it is your turn to nominate a player. Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm nominating Kenley Jansen here. I'm trying to nominate a bunch of closers because I don't want to pay more than $2 for any closer. If I don't get one for $2 or less, I'm probably not going to get a closer. Don't hold me to that, by the way, but that's the goal. And so, I think if I nominate a bunch of closers that I know will go for more than $2, hopefully I can drain enough money that I scare people away from bidding up the players I actually do want. And so Kenley Jansen's at $9 right now.
Yeah, there's
there's
Trey always good values for closers in a salary cap draft.
Yeah, I was part of the bidding there. I bid $8 on Kenley Jansen. I want to get one of my top 10 closers. It was top 12. I'm a little more nervous about Craig Kimbrell based on how he's looked in the spring so far. I will admit that. So I wanted to get one of my top 10, and I have Kenley Jansen at $10 in my values. So wasn't willing to go that far, but if I could have got him for $8, a bit of a discount there, I wasn't opposed to it. Who is nominating player? That would be RJ White. And Ketel Marte, he throws out for $15. Chris Towers licking his lips here on the podcast.
Hey, can I throw in a couple things real quick?
Go ahead.
Last year, so Trey Turner went for $43. I think that's pretty good. Last year, Mike Trout and Ronald Acuna went for $52 with a similar group of players, not the similar group of drafters, not the same group exactly, but very similar. 52 each. Christian Yelich went for like 45. Those three players actually all went to donkey teeth. He got the three most expensive players, and I don't know if he didn't pay attention to the league. I'm not sure, but he came in like 10th. So I thought his team was so interesting when we did this last year. We've been doing this league for so long. Ketel Marte went for $21. Sorry, I'm talking too much. But that was one of the most aggressive instances.
He went studs and duds. Yeah.
Major studs. They got the three players, and it didn't work out for him. Not to say that it can't, but I just thought people might want to know that. Ooh, deGrom.
So Ketel Marte goes for 21. Even the more aggressive Chris Towers has Ketel Marte ranked higher than the rest of us. You have Ketel Marte at $21. And RJ White is actually the one who threw him out at $15, and he won him for 21. So that is a potential strategy, throwing out players that you want. Jacob deGrom is all the way up at $52, and the leading candidate to get him right now is Nick Mimikos, who also won Trey Turner. So could be going with a similar strategy there of paying up for some of the top tier players. This is the only format that you can do that, where you can get 2 first-round players. And that's why
the only method of disseminating players. Yeah.
Right.
So deGrom goes for 54, and I had hoped that the high end pitchers wouldn't be as inflated as we saw in the head to head points version of this, where we saw the big three all exceed 50, and it made more sense in that format for a number of reasons, both because pitchers tend to be more valuable and because there are way fewer lineup spots to fill. So, you can go a little crazy with the bidding without suffering too much later on. But, it's happening to Acuna now because Acuna is approaching 60 at this point. He's the one up now. So
this is what we talk about when we've done strategy podcasts and we talk about salary cap values. And there you go. Ronald Acuna goes for $57 to Tim McLeod. It's hard to just put a single price on what a player is worth, right? So people email in and they say, well, why don't you tell us how much this player is worth? We can tell you, but you have to be able to account for inflation. And that's something that we have mentioned before. Scott has Ronald Acuna valued at $41. I have Acuna at $42. Chris has him at $44. He just went for $57. So what we know now is deGrom and Acuna just went for way more than what we actually have them down for, which means if you want top tier players in this salary cap draft, you are going to have to spend more to get them than you expected. So just keep that in mind. Brandon Lau is now being bid on, and he is up to $10 with Chris Mitchell, which actually seemed like a pretty good price. Oh, it's climbing back up now.
Yeah, I threw out Brandon Lau just to see what the kind of, probably third or fourth tier players are going to go for. I have Brandon Lau as a $15 player. I'm not sure what you guys have him as, but
17.
Looks like he's going to go 15 at least. So
okay, yeah, he's still climbing.
No discounts so far, at least based on my valuations. Kenley Jansen, the closest thing to a discount. So
Scott,
it's interesting.
Scott, can you talk about how if all these players are going for more than we have them valued at, what is that going to do to the mid tier of players and even some of those $1 players? I feel like that's going to cause even better players to go for cheaper later on in this salary cap draft.
Yeah, that is what's going to happen. There are only so many dollars to spend. We have our salary cap values calibrated for 12-team leagues, $260 budgets, exactly what this is. So if you've got the high-end guys exceeding the cost by $5 to $10, wow, you're going to see some real values with those middle tiers. And, it's going to be, obviously you want great players. They're the most likely to deliver great results and separate you from your competition. So it's going to be kind of a balancing act. How many can I go without in order to take advantage of what will probably be discounts later?
Well, time to change the strategy because pitcher number one on my list that I have here that I wrote down, Jacob deGrom or Gerrit Cole for $40 to $45. Well, that didn't happen. Gerrit Cole just went for 51, and now Shane Bieber is currently at $50.
Yeah, and just to provide some context, when you're talking about the best players going 5, 10, in Gerrit Cole's case, $15 more than I have him for, you only have $11 per spot, 11.3. So when you have one player who's who you spent $15 more than expected on, that's going to shave basically almost a half or more than $50 off of your average for the rest of the team. So, that's just the kind of thing to keep in mind.
It's a good point. Good point that you bring up there, Chris. And this is an interesting player because Cody Bellinger gets thrown out here pretty early on in the salary cap draft, slated to make his spring training debut on Wednesday. We have not seen him play a game yet. Of course, coming back from shoulder surgery, which he suffered in the playoffs of last year, and he is currently up to $30.
Zero discounts so far. Kenley Jansen still the only player who's gone for less than my valuation. It's
if this ends here, this is going to be good. Yeah, so that's a very
where I have him. I have him at 30.
It seems good relative to the prices we've seen, but I have Bellinger for 31, and he just went for 30. So
it's not a discount.
I didn't want him for more than 31.
I still think that based on the other players that are going to get pushed up in terms of their values here, Cody Bellinger in comparison is going to wind up being a pretty good discount at that price. And I don't even like Bellinger. I've talked about that quite a bit. So Adalberto Mondesi is now the player being bid on, and he is up to $26. Let's see, 27 now. 28 for Chrissy Poo, who has him everywhere. How high will he go?
He is one of my most rostered players so far. 5 out of my 12 leagues, I have him. One of them is a head-to-head point.
The mid-tier is going to go for so cheap.
Yep. I'm trying to remind myself to stay disciplined here. I let him go for 34. I have him for 31.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. It's always difficult to calibrate mid-auction like this, but I'm trying to remind myself, yes, there are going to be discounts later, but I'm also trying to remind myself that, like, of the 23 players I'm bidding on here for my roster, chances are half of them are going to amount to basically nothing for me. I actually looked into this for last year. Last year, I finished second in this league, and of the 23 players I bid on, only 11 amounted to anything, and only one off my roster. The first place guy, Dan Richards, I looked at his roster too. Only 12 of the 23 players he bid on amounted to anything. I mean, the rest were basically droppable.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at. And that was only for a 2-month season, by the way. That was only for a 2-month season. Half of our players ended up being discarded.
And there you go. I threw out Corey Seager on purpose because I wanted Scott to get involved. I was a little worried that you were talking there, Scott, and you weren't going to get your guy.
Bidding and talking and winning. All right.
Yeah. It was Corey $6 more than Seager was somebody I penciled in as my shortstop coming into this. I wanted him for 25. I don't know. I may regret going $6 over, but as I was saying, half my roster is probably going to get swapped out anyway. So I want to make sure I have some players I can depend on.
Someone just jump bid Zach Gallen up to $25. And
is that too much for Zach Gallen?
I would say
I have him for 21.
I am for 24. So
there's some questions about. I think there's been something in recent days that his innings may be more limited than we thought. I'll try to find where that came from.
Yo, Adam, what's going on, man? You're back up here tonight.
I want Frank to get on the board here. So here's Manny Machado for 10.
He's not written down as one of the players I want, but I'll take him for $12. Manny Machado currently going for $12. If I win him, sure. No.
Is it just the shoulder with Bellinger? Because how is it, like, in what world is Adalberto Mondesi more expensive than Cody Bellinger, who was like a top 5 player? Adalberto Mondesi could be, over a full season, because we saw him have a hot streak a couple of years ago at the beginning of the year, and then he ended up being a terrible hitter.
So my thing with him, and it's kind of similar to Keston Hiura, where like they've had really good streaks and they've had really bad streaks.
But who, Bellinger or Mondesi?
No, Mondesi. Because we've only really got like 2 seasons of Cody Bellinger, and one of them was a 60-game season. And one of them, he only played like 109 games or whatever. So, we really don't have much to go on. But if you just take what he's done across those 2 seasons, you're looking at like 90 runs, 80 RBI, 67 stolen bases, 15 home runs. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but if he does, he's probably a top 10 player in Roto.
Yeah.
Especially if the number 2 guy in steals has 35, which is entirely possible.
Right. If he plays a full season, you probably don't have to invest much in steals. I get that. But he's got a lot of downside.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. He was the shortstop on the all boomer bust team for a piece I wrote last night. We talked about that a couple days ago on the pod too.
It's just refreshing getting Mondesi and not really having to devote a single dollar to steals after that, because all the steals guys are going to be inflated beyond what they are even in a draft. And then with Bellinger, you asked about Bellinger specifically. Yeah. I mean, it's not just the shoulder. That's pretty big on its own. He also wasn't that good last year. Not even second round caliber. He also was making changes to his swing then. I think there's a lot of reasons people are nervous about Bellinger.
Stop making changes to your swing. He won the MVP and he started making changes to his swing.
I know, it was crazy.
It made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. The thing that has worried me a tad as well, Adam, outside of the shoulder, is in 2 of the past 3 years, he struggled against left-handed pitching, which I just don't like to see that from my first or second round pick. So that, coupled with the shoulder injury, I think he could get off to a slow start. Might be sending some Azer trade offers for Cody Bellinger early in the season if that is the case. Let's catch people up on some of these prices that went finalized. Zach Gallen goes for $25. Manny Machado went for $29, which seems like a pretty good buy when Corey Seager goes for $31. Edwin Diaz, another reliever off the board, he goes for $16. So there's only 2 relievers thus far. Diaz went for $16. Kenley Jansen went for $9. And Jose Ramirez goes to Chris. Chris, you now have 2 third basemen. You have Ramirez and Machado. Your corner infield spot is filled up.
Yeah, and that's, sometimes you do something while you're multitasking, and I saw him for 42, and I was like, look, I have him for 43, so I'll go. And it was only after that I remembered I have Manny Machado. But look, I have Manny Machado and Jose Ramirez on my team. I can't really complain that, oh no, now I can't draft Gene Segura for $4. Like, it's kind of, it's not really something to actually be worried about.
Mookie Betts is being bid on by, I don't know, Adam's jumping in a little bit here.
I don't want Mookie Betts. By the way, I think I have to have a closer discussion here because, God, it's such a terrible position. And in this format with 9 pitcher spots, typically you want like 3 closers. That might be, hold on. I want to see if I get Mookie Betts. $49 for Mookie Betts. Going once, going twice. Azer is on the board.
There he goes. Mookie Betts for $49 versus Ronald Acuna, who went for $57.
Yeah, and Jose Ramirez who went for $43. So I think Jose Ramirez looks like a pretty good value there. But yeah, Betts for a lot less than Acuna. I like that. I'm into that.
I was in on Ramirez for 41, and then Chris and that other guy got involved. So Fernando Tatis gets nominated here straight away, 42. I guess that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Should go close to a similar price to Mookie Betts, maybe even exceed him. Currently at $45 for Fernando Tatis. Is he going to stay there? Ooh, he was about to go for 45.
I was about to hit 46. I'm glad I didn't, because there was
I thought about it too.
Multiple bids in there that would have driven it up to 49 if I was the last one.
I don't have a single share of Fernando Tatis yet.
Me neither.
Which seems
I haven't been in the right spot in the draft yet.
Yeah,
neither have I. I don't have any. I keep picking 6th or later, which basically means I'm getting Shane Bieber.
Shane Bieber, Scott, I don't know if you saw, but he allowed 8 earned runs in spring training.
I did see that, yeah.
You should probably never draft him again.
Here comes
Ahmed Rosario had 3 errors, which didn't help.
One of the guys in my acronym.
Okay. All right, Adam. Let's see. Walker Buehler. Thrown out.
25 was too much for Gallen, and I know you guys don't love Buehler. So
we all like him more than Gallen, I'm pretty sure.
Actually, I have him ranked behind Gallen in my rankings.
I've got him 4 spots ahead of him in the overall.
Let's see. Walker Buehler is up to.
This
Buehler
is 29 inflated.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass. The acronym, throwing out the acronym.
What is the acronym? Are you not ready to reveal it?
Last year was Tap Hap AMC, which was 2 aces plus Hader and Paxton and more closers. Tap Hap AMC. I wanted like big time strikeout guys, but only 2 or 3 of them. And then win saves, win ERA, win whip. This year it is, what the hell is it? Fab AMC. Fab is spelled PHAB. It is Fab.
This is a great mnemonic device.
Fam AMC. FABPHAM AMC. That would be Flaherty and Bueller plus Hader and Morton and more closers. But already it's out the window.
Yeah, I was looking it up because you texted it to me today, so I was gonna help you out there, but you finally got it out. So
it's very confusing. Bad acronym to begin with.
Juan Soto is on the board right now for $48, now $49.
So we were talking about closers, Adam. You say and more closers. It feels like this is not the year to and more closers anything.
I don't think it is. I think I'm going to try to get 2 of the top 10 or 12. So here's my, like, in all honesty, you got to be really committed to fantasy baseball. And I just don't know that I'm going to be the one putting in fab bids on Wednesday night when somebody gets a save. So I don't think I'm going to be able to play the waiver wire that well. I'd like to have 2 solid closers with job security when I leave this salary cap tonight. So, but it's just a really bad year for that. So I just don't think you can go with that strategy out of the gate. I think you can adjust to that strategy if you're good off waivers where, you try to win saves and ERA and whip by going with a relief pitcher heavy strategy. But I don't think you should really draft that way.
Let's catch people up a little bit here. Fernando Tatis went for $48, so $1 cheaper than Mookie Betts. That seems pretty nice for Tatis. Walker Buehler gets up over $30, $32 for Walker Buehler. And then Juan Soto. I was in on the Soto bidding, so I'm going to have to adjust my strategy once again. All the players that I wanted. Juan Soto goes for $53. Clayton Kershaw, as of now, is being bid on. He is up to $26. Reminder, Ronald Acuna went for $57 if you're just comparing Soto versus Acuna. And Clayton Kershaw goes for $26. Who would you guys rather have? Kershaw at 26 or Walker Buehler at 32?
No, Kershaw.
I have Kershaw ranked ahead. So yeah. And that seems pretty reasonable for Kershaw.
Yeah.
Which is encouraged. I actually have Kershaw going for 28. So maybe I should have bid on him, A, and B, other than the big three of Cole, Bieber, and deGrom, I'm feeling more confident that these pitcher prices aren't going to be inflated the way they were in the head-to-head points version.
How much did Bieber wind up going for? Bieber went for 50 as well. So,
yeah. That's a good story. This is the guy that I wanted when I nominated Trey Turner. I did this with Story in mind. So I wanted to see Turner went for 43. So don't bid me up, guys, but I would like to get Trevor Story. I have a $38 bid in right now.
Well, I want him too, Adam. So I can't.
God, I sort of called him. I think I sort of called him here. So.
Oh, Mr. Azer and Scott, do we have ourselves a bit of a bidding war here?
42. Do I do it? Do I do
Scott.
it?
I don't think you should, because I'll tell you why.
Oh.
What if he gets traded?
He's not getting traded. Like, we dealt with that every year with Arenado. He never got traded. Oh, wait, he did. So I got Story for the same amount as Turner, which doesn't make me feel great. But all right, whatever. I like him.
It's not terrible. You got to get your guys. You got to pay up, especially for those first round players. Adam had Story originally at 41. Scott did go to 42, and then Mr. Azer jumps back in with the $43 bid. Now Brandon Woodruff is up for bidding.
And I genuinely would have taken him for 42. That was not bidding up to tick off Adam or to deliver better content. I learned my lesson with Nando a few years ago. I never bid up.
The player,
people up.
Jerko?
I never price enforce.
Jed Jerko, Scott?
Yeah, that was the famous or the infamous Jed Jerko incident. Yeah.
Adam, you have spent $43 or more on two players already. You have Mookie Betts and Trey Turner. Are you going with a little stars and scrubsy here?
I'm not going to have another $40 player, so I'm not going to go donkey teeth. But I think there's a lesson to be learned of what Scott said about how many players end up being, pretty useless for your team. I had probably the best hitting last year in this format, which is ironic because I thought I would do really well in ERA and WHIP because I went with the relievers and I didn't at all. But my hitting was great. I had Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner, and they basically carried me. So, I guess I'm going to be more like studs and duds and less balanced, but not all in.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
I threw out because I don't really want
Lord.
And he is kind of a hype guy, so I wanted to see how much he would go for, and he's all the way up at $34, which is $3 more than Scott spent on Corey Seager, and it is the same price that Adalberto Mondesi went for. So based on ADP, there are people who like Bo Bichette enough to use a borderline second-round pick on him. It's not crazy. For those people who like Bo Bichette, we wouldn't do it. We have basically been all over that. We've said that he's overvalued all along. But Bo Bichette goes for $34.
But even then, a $34 player is more like a late first rounder, at least in my evaluations.
Carlos Carrasco is currently going for $1, so let's change that.
He's not going for $1.
Carrasco up to 17, and he threw, I believe it was an 18-pitch bullpen session, something like that. It was in the teens on Tuesday, and he will pitch again, I believe, in the coming days. Carlos Carrasco dealing with some elbow inflammation. We don't know if he'll be ready for the start of the season, but the last we heard, they asked him, and he said, yeah, I'll be ready. No problem. Carrasco now at $24, so no discount here. And Scott doesn't care. He needs his pitching. And
He's starting to get angsty.
Right now, guys,
tell.
I look at what in this.
He's starting to sweat a little bit. His breathing's getting heavier.
my first grimace of the draft here was actually Brandon Woodruff a couple picks ago at 27. Just couldn't bring myself to go 28 on him, even though I wanted a $25 guy in that range. You know, I could have had Gallen for that. Kershaw would have had to be 27. Woodruff would have had to be 28. I get Carrasco for 25. There might be, I don't know, like a Flaherty or something for less than that, and then I'll regret it. But you know, you can't always hold out for the perfect value. I think 25 relative to the 28 it could have spent on Woodruff, or the 27 on Kershaw. I'll take that because I really don't have any issues with Carrasco's elbow. I think he's fine.
Yeah, but right now, as I look at this, and with all the experience that I do this every year, and I'm seeing almost every player is going for more than we expected. So at some point, there are going to be a lot of values, and that's usually, to me, that's when, you know, the Mike Moustakas or the Nick Castellanos of the world, those types of players.
It's not going to be Nick Castellanos.
All right. Well, the guy who would go like 100th overall.
Yeah, Moustakas maybe, but
okay.
The thing about the way this year has gone is, one, Nick Castellanos has never been a discount in any of the drafts that we've done. I don't think.
We always like him.
And everybody in the industry likes him.
Yeah.
And I would be surprised if there were very many pitcher values until you get to, I would say, probably outside the top 40.
But it depends when they get nominated.
Sure.
So right now, I'm not nominating anybody I want right now. There's too much money on the board, and I'm going to nominate players that I don't want, and I'm going to hope that I'm lucky enough to get somebody that I want when you get into this run where it's like, oh, I can't believe this guy went for this. That happens every time we do a salary cap draft.
Yeah. But I agree with Chris that for pitchers specifically, it's, you know, you might see that from a Kevin Gausman or a Frankie Montas, somebody just outside the top 40, but like a Carrasco or a Lance Lynn, like they're going to go for the amount they're going to go for. And 25 for Carrasco, I have him for 23, so it's not even really a real overpay.
Francisco Lindor goes for $34, which seems like a great price when you compare him to Bo Bichette, who went for the same price, and also Adalberto Mondesi, who went for $34. So really nice buy there on Lindor for RJ White. If you're watching at home, you saw Adam Azer doing a little fist pump action here. He wound up with, this is weird. I mean, he's fist pumping because he got the Indians' 7th inning reliever, James Karinchak, for $13. Talk about it, Adam.
I was listening to the Relief Pitcher podcast today, and that was like 2 weeks ago, but Scott seemed pretty convinced that he was going to be the closer. Look, he's an elite. This is the thing. He's an elite pitcher. And so even if he doesn't end up getting the saves, he's going to be so valuable in this format. And I will have to find out. I will have to get saves on the waiver wire. Hopefully I can do that. But I think Karinchak, if he is the closer, I think he's a $20 plus player, or he's a $20-ish player, and I got him for 13. I'm very happy about it.
He might have more strikeouts than like Kyle Hendricks.
Is he really not going to close? Is that a thing?
No, still not clear.
We don't know that.
Yeah, they haven't announced. He's had a rough spring, a lot of walks, so that's kind of made me a little more nervous than I was 2 weeks ago. But I have yet to see anything indicating he's not the front runner.
Yeah, he walks guys. That's okay.
Victor Robles went for $14, which seems like a bit of an overpay for a middling player, someone who would go in that 150 ADP range. Mike Trout currently going for $46 to Chris Towers. Is anyone else going to jump in? Ooh, 47 for Garrett Atkins. Does Chris have another one in him? Does he? I don't know.
Come on, Chris.
Or do I? Mwahaha.
Oh, 50.
It almost sounded like
Mike Trout. Right
the
now,
former Rockies third baseman Garrett Atkins just got a $48 bid placed on him. There isn't somebody named Garrett Atkins.
Every time I see him, I think that. Every time I see him in our drafts or on Twitter.
Frankie.
I'm on
Frankie
the
got Mike Trout.
So I actually wrote down, I wanted one of Trout or Juan Soto because I don't have a single share of either of those players, and it seems like they were a little bit undervalued this year. Mike Trout more than the other two being undervalued. But $50, I didn't really get much of a discount on him. I think he was the fourth hitter to go for 50 plus there. Again, that is Mike Trout. So
he was the last of that tier.
Yeah.
So you expect a little bit of inflation there also.
Yeah, that was played very poorly by me. Freddie Freeman is currently up to 37. Now this is
No, I gotta get it. Oh,
makes me feel terrible because I just spent $50 on Mike Trout and Freddie Freeman goes for $37
oh, come on.
while everyone's snoozing over here. Oh gosh, that's a great buy.
Let's see.
This shows that nobody really wants to get left out of stolen bases. Like,
Let's see.
we may all agree that, okay, Freddie Freeman's supposed to be a first rounder, but when we have to put our money where our mouth is, we'd rather pay up for guys that are going to deliver stolen bases. That's how you get Victor Robles going for 14 and Freeman going for 37.
I have Story and Betts. If I didn't have one of them, I absolutely would have been heavier on. I just figured I was sitting out Freeman because I said I'm not getting another $40 player. I can't believe he didn't go for 40.
RJ got two values there in Francisco Lindor for 34 and Freddie Freeman with 37. And sometimes I almost feel like that's the better way to go into a salary cap draft. Just bargain hunt, see who's going for cheaper than they should. And your team might turn out awesome. Oscar Mercado for a Chris.
Dollar bid there, Chris. Sneaky.
Oh, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, Oscar Mercado's.
Yeah, I tried to put in a bid there and it froze me out, so we're going to have to redo that.
Yeah, Oscar Mercado's a player I really like. I think he's going to play pretty much every day for Cleveland. I know they're trying out Ahmed Rosario in the outfield, Eddie Rosario and Ahmed Rosario. But my guess is Oscar Mercado plays pretty much every day. And this was a guy who was a top 150 pick this time last year. I still think he can be a 15-15 guy. So, one thing I do like to do if I can early on in the draft is get a couple of those dollar guys early. Who I like, just to kind of have that certainty baked in. So, I understand nobody else likes Oscar Mercado, but
would you have gone 3 if someone had gone 2?
No, I thought about putting him out for 2, but I figured the way I can draft him with my last pick every single time. So I figured nobody was going to go 2, especially not this early.
You know what? I thought with Ahmed Rosario, them trying him out in center, like yesterday, I thought, okay, this is bad news for Oscar Mercado. But then Ahmed Rosario makes 3 errors today. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out for them.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer goes for $35. Who was the last starting pitcher that went before him? Carlos Carrasco went for 25. Wood just went for 27.
What's interesting about that Bauer for 35, RJ White jumped the bid from 30 to 35. But, I might have gone 31, 32 on Bauer, but 35 was just too far.
Why you got to do that, Scott? I was about to get myself a little Anthony Rendon for 20. You know what? No, I'm not going to bully me out.
Scott, I know you love Rendon and Bregman. Is that more a points league thing, or is that all across the board?
That's all across the board. I mean, they're even better in points, but they're even cheaper in points because of all the pitchers pushing them down.
But they're not cheaper among hitters, are they? I would think.
No, they're probably not cheaper among hitters.
But I don't think they really get pushed up the way they probably should. I think Bregman, there's just the concerns about his hamstring. He just played in a game, I think, today for the first time due to a hamstring injury that he had in January. So, with the way those can linger, I think he's been discounted in a way that I think makes sense for the most part.
So Anthony Rendon, you wound up with Anthony Rendon for $27, Scott, which seems like a pretty good value. Oh, a little host battle here. Is that what we're doing, Adam?
Not anymore. I'm out.
Adam and I were bidding on Carlos Correa, who is now up to $13, which I have him at $16. Scott has him at 14. Chris has him at 11. So this is probably around the range that Carlos Correa should go for. I've never been a Correa guy. I think I bashed you last year, Adam. I've been off him forever. But this is actually the lowest he's going in ADP and the cheapest he's going in salary cap drafts. He's entering a contract year, 26 years old. I can get behind Carlos Correa having a potential massive season here at his lowest cost ever. So I actually like getting Correa at that price. Starling Marte is currently being bid on and he is up to $17. Scott, did you talk about your Anthony Rendon for $27?
I didn't. I had hoped to get a first round caliber base stealer. So obviously not just a pure base stealer, but an across the board guy. I'd hoped to get one of those, whether it was Jose Ramirez or Trevor Story. I'd hope to get one for around $40. There is still one out there, Christian Yelich, but at this point I'm not confident at all. I can get him for $40. So I'm disseminating those $40 to some of like the next rung down the ladder, which includes guys like Anthony Rendon. And, I'll probably be able to split those $40 into two high end, if not super elite type hitters.
Speaking of Christian Yelich, let's throw him out here at $30. Get some more money off the board. Starling Marte goes for $24. Someone that can help you in that steals department, a potential 2020 bat there. I have him for $23.
What happened with Yelich last year?
So a big reason that he blamed was not having the in-game video, Adam, which many hitters blamed. JD Martinez, Javier Baez, those hitters will have in-game video this year. And he was coming back from an injury where he fractured his kneecap. I mean, it's not really an easy injury to come back from. He did that late in the season back in 2019. So I think you couple those things together and you kind of give Christian Yelich the benefit of the doubt. He made harder contact than ever before. It was just the strikeouts were up like we've never seen before.
Come on, Adam.
Chris hates somebody jumping in at the last second. That is
just like bid.
Rating to him.
You didn't need to make a decision. Just bid. You know who Christian Yelich is.
I was listening to Frank. He convinced me. He was the 10 seconds that it took for me to make that. That was all Frank. That's my third $40 plus player. So I totally lied.
So you lied to us.
I got excited. I was like, I kind of want to try this. I think Yelich, if he can bounce back, he's arguably the most valuable player. If he can get back to his previous form, he could be the number one player in this format. He's incredible.
Yeah, I agree. You should have let me have him.
Why didn't you go 44 there?
Because I was frustrated out of spite.
I'm going to have the rest of my team is going to be terrible. Jeez. I have 3 players, 43 for Story, 43 for Yelich, 49 for Betts.
Yeah, but you have 3 of my top 10 players or top 11.
I have to spend at least $30 on Gary Sanchez. So that's good.
I mean, if you're not the sort of person, if you're not the sort of person that's going to play the waiver wire, Adam, as you were suggesting earlier, then studs and duds like that, stars and scrubs, whatever you want to call it, probably not the way to go.
Oh, not the way to go?
No, not the way to go. No, because you're relying.
Yeah,
stars and scrubs
through those duds.
Stars and scrubs works.
I will play the waiver wire to a degree. I'm not going to be as good as I'm not going to be as active, but you know what you said about how less than half of the players that you got last year and you're in the salary cap auction, the salary cap bidding. So I'm thinking if I just have,
we're droppable basically. We're droppable over the course of 2 months.
If I have 4 or 5 great players that anchor my lineup, then I don't have to be that good on the waiver wire.
We're currently bidding on Kenta Maeda. Should I bid Scott up? He's at $24.
You don't know if I'd bid again, Frank.
You probably would. So I'm gonna let you have him anyway at $24. I don't want to get.
I wasn't going to. You would have gotten Maeda for 25.
It's not a terrible price for him. Corbin Burns was the player before that went for 22, and I let out a sigh when that happened because I don't have. So basically what I'm doing for the salary cap draft is trying to get a bunch of guys that I don't have any shares of yet. And Corbin Burns is a fun player and I don't have him anywhere. And I was looking to get him for that $18 to $20 range, but Burns went for 22. So a little bit over what I was willing to pay for him. And then Scott sneaks in there with Kenta Maeda for 24. I believe you now have 2 pitchers, right, Scott? You have Kenta Maeda at 24 and Carlos Carrasco at 25.
That is correct.
And Yu Darvish is currently being bid on. He is up to $28. 29. I mean, Chris, you're not allowed to have Yu Darvish because he's a good pitcher.
I have had several good pitchers on my teams.
Hey, listen, can I just say, if there's one thing I want to accomplish now, I have to do that to Chris at least one more time. outbid him at the last. That was incredible. I kind of whiffed on the button, Chris. So it took like an extra second for me to get.
Oh, okay.
Yu Darvish goes off the board for $33. Trevor Bauer went for $35. So I think those two pitchers are in a similar tier. So getting Darvish for a few bucks cheaper than Yu Darvish is, I think, a pretty good buy there at 33. Aaron Hicks.
This is ridiculous.
See, there's no way. There's no way Hicks would go for $4 like he is right now if he got nominated during the end game. You know, that's just one of those. You throw anybody out who's, worth starting, and they're going to get bid up for some strange reason.
This is another one.
And I like Hicks. I say that as somebody who likes Hicks. I just know there are going to be comparable players for cheaper later during the end game.
And Jared Kelenic, prospect for the Seattle Mariners, gets thrown out for $1, and very similar to Aaron Hicks, is already up to $4, $5. I do know that Tim McLeod is a prospect guy, so he's probably looking to land him there. Up to $6 for Kelenic, so a very similar situation. And this is, I think, a good lesson for people who are, if you're trying to sneak players by, some players that have a little bit of hype to them in spring training, even Aaron Hicks. He's been getting hyped up a little bit on podcasts. We've talked to him a little bit about him here and there. If you throw him out in the middle of his salary cap draft, when there's still money on the table, he's going to go for more than he should. Jared Kelenic winds up going for $7. If that happens later on, he's a $1, maybe a $2 player. So that's what's happening right now as we are still in the early part of this salary cap draft. And Bryce Harper, my man, is currently thrown out, and he is he's up to $29.
He goes for 35. That's my prediction.
35. Will it be to me?
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think, Scott? Should I bid on him?
Get in there.
Lindor went for 34. I do like Bryce Harper. He's not part of the plan that I have written down here. He's already up to 35. Will he exceed Scott's prediction? Going once. Going twice. Look at this.
Oh, Greg Lathrop bumped it to 36. By the way, with Harper now at 37, like I have him for 31. So even still, these high end guys are going for in this case $6 more, $5 to $10 more than what I have them for.
Cody Bellinger. When it happened, I said it. I thought he was going to be a great discount at $30. And I like Harper more than Bellinger. Do I like Harper $7 more than Bellinger? No, but you can't predict that at the time. And that's why so much is timing based in a draft like this. So Bellinger gets thrown out early. People really don't know about the health. You get him at a bit of a discount there. And Chris throws out Byron Buxton for $5.
Now, what was the thinking there, Chris? Because I know you really, really want Byron Buxton.
I was hoping I could just get him at 5 because I know nobody likes him like I do.
That was
even seeing what happened with Hicks and Kelenic.
Right, but there's only one other guy bidding so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Is he worth $5?
No, he's definitely not worth 9.
I have him for 15.
I'm just kidding, Chris.
So according to Chris,
but I think Buxton is one of the most undervalued players right now.
I have him for. I have him exactly for $9. So
I have him for 6.
That is a fair price. Not as lower on Buxton. Obviously, Chris the highest, and I'm somewhere in between. So Max Scherzer, an interesting one because he has looked lights out in the spring, and I think that is going to cause his ADP to rise a little bit. And I am predicting that he will go for close to $35 here. I think he will go for a similar amount as Trevor Bauer. We'll see where that stops at. He's currently up to 31. Chris has Max Scherzer as his SP4 overall. That's really where the rankings begin at starting pitcher this year. There's a very clear top 3, and then you ask Chris, he says Max Scherzer is his SP4. Scott has Bauer, and I have Aaron Nola as my SP4. So I was close. Max Scherzer goes for $33. How do you feel about that price, Chris?
It's more than I have him for, but I'm thrilled with it given the prices and given how much I like Max Scherzer. He made it through last season without any back or neck issues, which is the thing we're concerned about. Obviously, he's 36, so we're also concerned about that. But the velocity was fine. The swing strike rates were fine. Most of the underlying numbers, except really for the walk rate, was fine. And given the small sample size and given the fact that Scherzer's never had issues with walks, since he broke out. I don't really have any concerns about that. I think he's, like you said, he's my number 4 SP. I think he's going to be awesome. I think, Scherzer is a pillar of my starting pitcher strategy this year.
The thing that scares me most about Scherzer, obviously the age, he's 36, has dealt with some injuries. It doesn't scare Chris as much, but obviously the older you are, he has had some recurring things. I think it makes it more likely for those things to come back and rear their ugly head for Max Scherzer. And the past couple of years, he has allowed harder contact. The BABIP has been up. The batting average against, he's allowing more hits. Again, that is Max Scherzer. So I think that there's a chance that he can completely bottom out this year. And I also realize can make me look completely foolish and finish as the top 5 starting pitchers. So
he could absolutely bottom out. He's 36 years old. He's much, much closer to his last major league pitch than his first. But
Jake, can we talk about this guy here? Because I have really no idea what to make of him. When I bid $2 on him because, oh, damn it, I just bid 3. I did not mean to do that. Jake Cronin
is a $5 player.
You know what I like about Jake Cronenworth? He is eligible at first, second, and short. So is he good? I just got him for $3. So
I think he's a good player to have.
Okay.
I have Jake Cronenworth as a $1 player.
I mean, he way underperformed his expected stats last year. And yet I don't totally buy that there's hidden power in there, but he could hit for average. He could steal some bases. Like he could just be kind of a handy, multi-eligible, kind of not hurt you in anything kind of player. Probably going to pick up outfield eligibility too, I would guess.
Oh, nice.
He's been, so far at least, it's been mostly Jurickson Profar filling in for Trent Grisham, with Cronenworth mostly playing the infield. So, but I think it's possible he does get outfield eligibility. One thing that's been really interesting that I noticed, at least over the last 2 weeks, Ha-Seong Kim has not played a position except for shortstop. Obviously, that is a position on the Padres that doesn't allow for much playing time. So, he was someone who we thought, like Lindor, like Profar, and like Cronenworth, could be a super utility guy, and they've talked about him that way, but they haven't been using him that way.
I never did 2 on him, by the way. And I unfortunately bid at the same time as someone and got it for 3. So just want to say that.
Speaking of Trent Grisham, he is dealing with that hamstring injury. So I threw him out right now to see what his price would go for. And he is already up to $10. And now he's up to 11. Let's see what I have him priced out as, because I could be.
I guess you have him as close to a $20 player, right?
I'm sure I do. Have him at $21.
Yeah, I have him at 12.
How much are you worried about the this injury here for Trent Grisham? Should he go for less than this? Oh, he's up to $15. Scott in an intense bidding war. $16 for Trent Grisham.
I mean, Frank, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You're a coward.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'll take
you
him.
like him.
It's not part of the plan, dude. I have a plan.
You won't bid on him. You're a coward.
It's part of
the
the
definition of a coward.
Chris, it's part of the plan, dude.
It sounds like he's going to be ready for opening day, even with that hamstring injury. Presumably it'll be a short absence if he isn't. And like the way steals are being pushed up in this, I'll take Grisham for 16. That's $2 less than I had marked him down for. I did grimace earlier at DJ LeMahieu went for $27 a few picks ago, which was the same amount I bought Anthony Rendon for. It was hard not to go up 28 for LeMahieu, knowing I spent the 27 on Rendon, because I'd rather have LeMahieu than Rendon, and I have that extra money to spend since I didn't get that $40 player. That's one that's going to gnaw at me until I fill that money some other way, because that may have been the best way to fill it. Who knows?
Not excited about that one. It just went down. Aaron Nola goes for $33, who I do have as my SP4, as I mentioned. And I was looking to get in. I was in on the bidding there. 33. It's a little bit more than I would like to spend on him.
Yeah.
We're going to just wind up with no players because I only have Mike Trout on my team.
I wanted Bauer or Darvish or Nola or Scherzer or Giolito, who's still out there. I'd hope to get one for about 30. And, I'd actually hope to get 2 for about 30. Clearly, that's not going to happen. And so I still like Maeda is looking like my ace right now. Not super comfortable with that.
I think Maeda felt to me like one of the most overrated. I just looked at ADP, the most overrated player. He was never as good as he was last year, which was 2 months against some of the easiest competition in the world. I couldn't believe his ADP.
He made some tangible changes last year, Adam. Changed his pitch mix. He threw his fastball 12% less than ever before. He used his slider and his changeup more. Those are really good off-speed pitches for him. So I get what you're saying. People have made the same argument against Zach Plesac and Shane Bieber that they, obviously faced the American League Central, and there were lots of good matchups there. They also faced the National League Central. So I think those are reasonable arguments against, but I kind of just think Maeda is awesome.
There's nothing. I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead.
We also don't know whether he'll be a 160 inning pitcher or 180 inning pitcher. And we've never seen him. I don't think he's thrown more than 135 innings in a major league season. So, I have questions. Just, I don't think he'll be as good as last season, but I think that sort of goes without saying. And I don't think there's anybody who really disagrees. But I also have questions about, what Kenta Maeda looks like 140 innings into a season, just because we haven't seen it. He could be awesome, but
stars and scrubs.
Well, I got Hader and Karinchak now, so kind of looking for the elite pitchers here
for about the same amount too, right? Hader you took for 17 just now.
Karinchak or Karinchak? Karinchak for 13.
So you spent a combined $30 on setup relievers, Adam. Nah, Josh Hader is going to be the closer as long as he is with the Milwaukee Brewers. Of course, Devin Williams is there, and he is awesome. Josh Hader ultimately goes for $17. And another one, Nick Senzel, where I think later on in the salary cap draft, he's going to go for. He's going to go for.
Just say
now he goes for $8. So.
I like Senzel. That makes me feel so much better about Byron Buxton for 9.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Although maybe I should say something mean to you since you called me a coward.
I mean, you got to go for the guys for your guys.
Do you know who's going to love his team, by the way, at the end of this? Frank. Frank has so much money left, and he's going to get everyone he likes. He's going to get sleeper, every breakout he likes. He's going to get like a top 10 player at almost every position. You're going to be in great shape.
I don't think so, Adam. I think I actually played this very poorly.
No,
this is the downside of coming into this with a plan, right? So a lot of the players that I have written down that I want have not gone yet, but that means people know that they're the best players available, and usually those players get pushed up a little bit in price. When they're the last player in a tier, they're going to go for a little bit more than they probably should. So I don't know that I necessarily. What just happened?
Scott just that was a great facial expression. That was terrific.
Yeah. Tyler Glass now went for 20, which is only $1 than I'd mark him down for. And the thing is, I just don't want Tyler Glass now, but I want more good starting pitchers. And
not many left, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really anxious about not going 21 on Glass now, even though I don't really want him because I worry about the durability. And
Chris, you almost got caught there, dude. I know you don't like Arenado. Someone jump bid him, and then you wound up.
Yeah, because I was going to bid at 7. I have him as a $15 player. So even as my utility, I'd be thrilled with that. And then someone jump bid to 15, and I got stuck with the $16 bid.
He's past that. Don't worry.
You've got to pay attention during sometimes people just jump bid, and then you could get stuck with a player that you don't want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nolan Arenado goes for $19. Who's making all those groaning sounds? I can't tell.
It's me. I don't.
Is that a good price? Is that
again, Anthony Rendon for 27, and I felt good about that. Nolan Arenado for 19.
Now we're seeing some values here.
Exactly.
Hopefully there are still some players that you love. And what I would do is I would nominate some of the best players available right now and get, not everybody's going to be a bargain, but get, Lucas Giolito or whatever off the board. That someone you don't want, the best player left, because people are starting to get a little thrifty here. Also, Frank, you might want to explain the jump bid thing to people who haven't done this or don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So basically, when there's a player that is going for much cheaper than he should, for example, Nolan Arenado, we were just talking about, people were slowly bidding on him $5, $6, and then someone entered in, and you can do this on CBS in their draft room. You can enter in your bid. So they went from a $6 bid to a $15 bid. So that's called a jump bid, when you jump, multiple dollars at once. And Chris was just bidding because he thought it was going to be a $6 bid, but that's why he accidentally bid 16, because someone jump bid there on Nolan Arenado. So just pay attention when someone is doing something like that. Steven Strasburg for $22. Adam, he's out for the year, right?
Not yet. By the way, yeah, and just on the jump bid thing, there's a button that is offer $1 more than the current bid. So that is the default. You hit the button, it's $1 more. So I don't know if you said that, but for people who have not done this, it's a little bit intimidating. It's weird, but it's pretty easy to pick up on. It doesn't take long. I remember my first one was this league, and I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up with, I think, Albert Pujols and Alex Rodriguez, and I was like, yeah, and my team was terrible.
So
come on.
So far, I'm keeping track of all the players and comparing them to my values. There has only been one pitcher, actually two pitchers, who have gone for less than $1 more than the value I have them for. So basically, like, I have him for 25. He went for 26.
Okay.
I guess?
Sure.
Kershaw?
Yep.
And Glasnow?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's Kenley Jansen, actually.
Oh, that's not fair.
Who I don't have a ton of interest in myself.
So I wound up spending $35 on Giolito, and this is what I was talking about, Adam, where he's the last player in a tier. Yes, I still have money left, but I knew he was going to go for more money than he should have, and that's why I wind up overpaying there. And I would say that I have overpaid for both of the players I have at this point. I got Trout for $50, and I have Lucas Giolito at $35. I stopped bidding on Aaron Nola at $33, so I don't feel great about that. Kershaw, in hindsight, looks like he was a really good value for the, what was it, $26 you went for?
$26, yeah.
I like
Frank,
that.
let me give you some key advice here, okay?
Go ahead.
Never host and draft a league that you're playing out. It's a really bad idea, especially a salary cap league. That is brutal, man. So you're luckily we're not paying it. This is not a pay league, but don't host and draft. Very, very difficult.
Yep. It's fair advice. Definitely fair advice. Marcell Ozuna goes for $25. So let's compare him to another player that goes in that third, fourth round range.
Well, Lance Lynn was 25.
Lance Lynn was 25. Usually a fourth round player. So yeah, that probably makes sense for Ozuna to go for around that price.
Yeah, he's the first. Ozuna's the first player that I've gotten who was more than my auction or salary value, but it was only $2 more, so I think that's okay. Actually, Scherzer was also more, but he's a pitcher, so it doesn't. That's what happens.
There we go. We're on the board again. I get Tommy Pham for $10.
So you got Giolito for 35 just a couple of picks ago, Frank.
Yep.
That was another one that I had hoped to get for around 30. Since all the others were gone, I was in at 34. But 36 I wasn't willing to go there. Chris got Marcell Ozuna for 25 right after that, which is about chalk, I would say, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have him for 23. I'm sure you guys have him for right around the same range.
Yeah.
40-year-old Nelson Cruz, who just continues to get it done, is currently going for $12, which, as usual, seems like a very fair value for Nelson Cruz. I bid on Tommy Pham at $10. I've mentioned I do like him quite a bit when he's healthy. If he's healthy, of course, hopefully he can stay on the field. He's dealt with so many different ailments the past couple of years. But I have him priced at $11 in my auction values, and I wind up getting him for $10. And I do like him quite a bit more than Buxton, who Chris paid $9 for. So I like that as well. Who do we want to throw out here? Who do you guys want? Who do you want?
Cruz for 13.
Oh, I just saw someone that Adam wants. Here we go.
Oh, no, don't do it.
Here's the big boy. Aaron Judge.
I think I'm pretty much out on this range. I've got $70 left, and I have I have 7 players. So
maybe you should just host, Adam.
It may be, yeah. Yeah,
Frank catch up.
I don't think I have $20 players left on my roster except for some starting pitchers. I'm going to have to really go easy on the hitting because I have Story, Yelich, and Betts.
But that seems like a great buy too. I don't even like Judge, but he goes for $18.
Yeah, I mark him at 21, so it's not as great as my stomach was telling me, but still pretty good. 18 for Aaron Judge. It's this is tough. This stretch, a lot of anxiety over here right now, if you can't tell.
Yeah, how is that stomach feeling?
It's always how Scott does in salary cap drafts. It's always the first like hour and a half. He's just miserable. He can't hold on to his mouse because his hands are so sweaty. And then by the end, he's like, "Oh no, I like my team."
Eugenio Suarez is currently going for $16 now to Scott. Scott is buying in a little bit more. I think, Chris, you have had some influence there. And he's
about to be a shortstop, so that's cool.
About to be a short. He played shortstop on Tuesday, right? In spring training?
He did.
Oh, yeah, well, that game has not happened yet. It is a night game, and we are recording this earlier than usual. So that starts. I will let everyone know.
Okay, so Eugenio Suarez, I get him for 18. That gives me a little bit of a reprieve for Nolan Arenado, who could have had him at 20, you know. And I like it. Having read more about the situation, it sounds like they actually want Suarez as their shortstop, at least on a semi-regular basis, you know. So I really think he's going to pick up eligibility there, and that might come in handy later on. I already have a third baseman. I already have a shortstop too, Seager and Rendon. But, you know, there's another corner infield spot to fill, and if it comes to it, there's another middle infield spot to fill.
Dylan Bundy is currently being bid on. He is up to $12, and this is exactly that range that we were talking about earlier, that 100 ADP range. Bundy right now his ADP on Fantasy Pros is 110. So he goes, not yet. Scott is still bidding.
This is not a discount.
Scott, he was in Scott's bust column. That's why I nominated him. And now Scott's going to get him? What's this all about?
Scott's going to bid on every starting pitcher.
Oh, man. 15 to Scott.
$15 for Dylan Bundy. How you feeling, Scott?
Okay. I don't like that you guys are like laughing at me. That makes me feel a little worse, but
laughing with you. Come on, Scott.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to allocate those $30 that I now won't be spending on a starting pitcher, and it seems like I should break it into more starting pitchers. And I think when Bust 3.0 comes out, I'm going to take Bundy out of it.
He's been dropping in ADP, and we spoke about that. I mean, I didn't like Dylan Bundy as much when he was going inside the top 100 picks. There were drafts where I saw him going at pick 90. I don't love that, but now he's dropping down to like 110, 120 in some drafts that I'm seeing. $15 is probably a little bit more than I want to spend on him, but I mean, he's your cutoff, Scott. He's 5 of the top 35, and currently you have 3 of those pitchers, right? Yes,
I have Maeda, Carrasco, and Bundy.
And Aroldis Chapman goes for $13. Adam got Josh Hader at
for 13 and Hader for 17.
Okay, so Chapman goes for the same price as James Karinchak. What are we doing here? Come on, RJ. I mean, RJ White throws out Chris Paddock for 14. He's trying to sneak one on by there. Come on, man. What are we doing? Oh my gosh.
Hey, Paddock's up to 20 now.
This is
I rank Bundy ahead, so
well,
I might be the only one who does, but nonetheless.
I would say you probably got to fix the rankings, Scott, but no. I am notoriously higher on Chris Paddock than everyone else. I had him written down here. I probably should just bid there anyway. What I have him written down for? 15 to 18. I could have went up to 20. He was for 21. So if people are buying in on Paddock, you know, the Paddock that we saw as a rookie, mid-3s ERA, almost strikeout per inning, a really good whip, he's probably going to be worth that. But as of now, that is more than where he's actually been drafted in recent drafts. Zach Wheeler thrown out at $8. Adam, how you doing, man? How's
I sent you a text message, Frank. Did you get it?
Yeah. I'm not as nonchalant as you when hosting. I don't really check.
And I sent you a Slack message too. I've been really trying.
You can't message Frank while the podcast is going on.
This is all the attention, man. There's nothing else.
I'm all right. I'm nervous about. I was nervous about this draft. And then I was like, it's just fantasy sports. Who cares? Let's just have fun. But this is going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough league for me. Like Zach Wheeler went for 18. I don't know really anything about Zach Wheeler. I mean, he's been so up and down. He's been so inconsistent. How can you trust Zach Wheeler?
He's kind of viewed, ironically, as like a boring innings eater type now. He's gone, 190 plus innings, 2018, 2019, and he was among the league leaders last season. But he was a very different pitcher last season than we've ever seen before from him. He was a ground ball, low strikeout guy last year.
Whoa, Jose Abreu. That's an MVP candidate if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I don't like ground ball, low strikeouts guys. Those are not my favorite players.
I think the strikeouts are going to bounce back for
Wheeler.
For Zach Wheeler. His swinging strike rate was actually higher last year than it has ever been before. Meanwhile, his K per 9 was under 7 or something. So that just seems a little wonky. So it seems like he pitched a little bit more to contact, but I think he could get back up to like the 8 K per 9 kind of range. Jose Abreu goes for $21, and I'm sure I have him for more than that.
There was zero chance I was taking Jose Abreu.
Yeah, I have Abreu at $24, but I have a plan for first base. I think I probably got to get away from this plan. I don't know what's going on. I have no
problem. First baseman I want is definitely the first baseman that everybody, that all of you want as well. So there's just no way I'm getting him.
Is that true?
Josh Bell?
No.
Whoa. No name dropping. Come on.
No, I'll say, it's Matt Olson. I know you guys love Matt Olson. How do you feel?
I'm the only one who loves Matt Olson.
Yeah, I don't want Matt Olson.
Oh, really?
I like Matt.
Matt Olson, Nick Madrigal combo. Does that make sense to pair the two?
You might get 37 home runs from them.
Yeah, but you'd get the batting average and the power combined, or Pete Alonso.
Yeah, they kind of cancel out each other's weaknesses, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
I would prefer if it was Pete Alonso and Nick Madrigal.
You'll pay more for that, probably, but yeah, that's I kind of think Olsen and Alonso are basically the same, and if they had their chalk season, to use that word again, it would look about the same. I don't think Chris agrees with me on that, but that's how I size up those two.
Oh, this is killing me.
How much? I mean, we've never seen Pete Alonso play as poorly as we've seen Matt Olson play last season, and we've never seen Matt Olson play as well as Pete Alonso did in 2019. So I just
that's true, but we thought Alonso overachieved then, and we thought Olson underachieved last year, and
right. But I also think Olson overachieved in 2019.
Jack Flaherty just went for $31. So Adam, I think you already have to develop a new acronym because you didn't get any of the players that you need.
Yeah, I got Hader, and there's still Charlie Morton, and maybe I'll throw James Paxton back in. I don't know, but no, 31 for Flaherty. I was hoping he'd be like 25. I was foolish, but I really wanted him. He had one terrible start that inflated his ERA. Other than that one bad start, he had like a 3.14 ERA. He's going to have a lot of strikeouts. I still think he could be an ace, a real ace.
I like Flaherty too. I didn't like him as much heading into last year because I thought that second half that he had in 2019 was just so unsustainable. But the underlying numbers last year were actually better than they were in his breakout 2019 season. So I know it was 7 or 8 starts that he made, so it wasn't much, and it was just a weird season overall for all the Cardinals. They had so many COVID concerns. So you kind of give Jack Flaherty the benefit of the doubt. He's ranked inside my top 10 starting pitchers.
Well, this is a bold nomination here from Valdez for a buck.
I love it.
Somebody jumped in for 2.
See, yeah, I thought he was going to get him for a buck, and that's free. If he gets 110 innings, you're going to be thrilled with a $1 bid for him.
Yeah. We still don't know how. I mean, obviously it looks like it's going to be a season-ending injury, but he's trying to figure out a way around that. And if he is able to pitch through it, the broken finger, and pitch effectively, then obviously, like, even at $2, it's hard for that to be
Scott
a problem for you.
Oh boy.
I love that you're giving Scott a heads up that Brian Hayes is being bid on while he's talking.
He's batting pretty much exclusively second in the order for the Pirates. And it looks like right now the top of the lineup is going to be Adam Frazier, Brian Hayes, and Brian Reynolds, which, one of those players is very good.
Yeah, I like the $11 Hayes went for. I got 2 third basemen already. So should I want to fill my utility spot with Hayes?
Yeah.
That was kind of the issue there. I got Suarez and I got Rendon.
How much do you guys think Luis Castillo is going to go for?
He's probably the last of 31 tier of his tier, right?
Right. Yeah. I would say so.
So I think if he's less than 30, that's a great value. But
it won't be less than 30. I bet.
We just got one of those infamous jump bids there that went from like 8 to 27. Oh, come on, man. Got a nice little friendly FBT battle going on.
I mean, he had to be you guys. I'm not going 35 on Castillo.
He had to be more than Max Scherzer.
Alrighty. So, like I said, Adam, I knew it was going to happen. You said, I'm going to be able to bully everyone and get all these discounts. It's not happening, man. I spent $35 on Giolito, $34 on Luis Castillo.
Well, that's still high tier, guys.
Bad,
right?
You got 2 like borderline second round picks in most drafts.
Yeah, it's going to be on the middle tier, guys. It's going to be like on the Carlos Correas, the Max Muncies. That's where you're going to see the discounts applied, unless one of them gets nominated right away. Here, well, people still have some money.
Oh, Chris, your boy Sixto Sanchez is currently being thrown out. Let me just remind everyone again: this is a standard 5x5 rotisserie salary cap draft. So we are playing with 2 catchers. I don't think a single catcher has been nominated yet. 5 outfielders, a corner infielder, a middle infielder, 9 pitcher spots with a season-long 900 innings pitched minimum. So that might sound weird for some people, but if you play in Roto, you have to have some kind of season-long innings minimum, or else people are just going to use relievers all year and have these super low ERA and whips, and throws everything else off for the.
To be clear, in 2019, the average Roto team had 1,300 innings. 1305, I think, is what it was. So
did you just say there was an innings minimum?
Yeah, 900.
Since when?
That's always been in play.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I lowered it last year, obviously, because it was 2 months. I lowered it to like 300.
Let's get a catcher here.
Yeah, 900 is traditional.
What do you think? What do you think Real Muto is going to go for?
20 plus.
I think I'll go under 20. People are hesitant to bid on catchers in salary cap drafts. It seems like they just don't want to devote their money to that. Even the top guy.
Chris, you wound up with your boy Sixto Sanchez at $11. So a little bit more than you have, Matt. But I do think just pitching in general is going to be pushed up a little bit more, as we've seen.
I have him at 11. I think
I see it at 9, unless I'm in Roto. So
interesting.
Might need to update that bad boy there. JT Realmuto up at $17 right now.
I may not have hit publish. I think that's what happened.
18. Come on, let's get to 20. Let's get that money off the board. And is it going to happen? We each have him at. I have him at 21. Scott has 21.
I think 18 is exactly what he went for last year, and that's what he goes for this year too.
That's
turn to nominate. Oh, it's my turn to nominate a player.
That's a good price for JT Realmuto. I don't spend up on catcher, but if you're going to do it to get him at 18, I think you feel really good about that.
I've seen too many people win in this format with lousy catchers. There's just too many players, and the catchers, I don't know, they just don't. I'm going to have 2 $1 catchers, almost. Maybe at most, I'd say $4 on my 2 catchers.
I have 2, though I will point out last year's winner, Dan Richards of Pitcher List. He invested in 2 catchers. I believe he got Realmuto, and he also got Gary Sanchez. Sanchez didn't even work out that well, but obviously there's more than one way to do things.
Who were your catchers? Because you were second. Oh, Hendricks. Oh man,
that doesn't
$12. A nice price for Hendricks.
Really good one.
That must make you feel not so great about James Karinchak at 13, huh, Adam?
You know what? Shut up, Frank. Your team's.
It does. I agree with you.
My catchers as the second place team. Sorry, I thought it was pulled up right then. No, Carson Kelly and James McCann for a combined $4. Obviously, Carson Kelly not so good. James McCann for $1. That was pretty helpful.
Just got the Cubs leadoff hitter for half of my suggested salary, so I'm pretty thrilled about getting Ian Happ for $6.
I think that's actually a good price for him, Chris. So good work there. Alex Bregman is thrown out right now, and we'll see how high he goes. How much did you? I think it was 27 on Rendon, right, Scott? So
yeah,
I think we would assume something similar for Bregman.
Yeah,
who made his spring training debut on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something tells me he's not going for 27.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We'll see.
He's up to 20 now. We're creeping up.
Oh. By the way, Jacob deGrom came out, and I think like none of his first 10 fastballs were below 99 miles per hour today. He's just ridiculous. And he averaged 98.6 last year, but so far in spring, it actually seems like that might be even higher.
Who was that?
Jacob deGrom. I was watching that game today.
Oh, yeah. So, Frank, you get Bregman for 23.
Nice work.
Oh, that wasn't part of the plan either. The plan is gone. I have deviated.
You got to throw the plan out. Like there's no reason to stick to a plan so dogmatically.
Chris Bryant is currently at $7. So
that's Scott talked about that with his Tout Wars team. You guys are both going through that. All three of you guys are going through that with your salary cap teams.
Yeah, I mean the plan was obviously burned once the high end guys were going for 50 to 55. That obviously changed things. But there are still remnants of the plan. Seager was my plan at shortstop. Yeah, that's about the only thing that's gone according to plan.
No discount for Chris Bryant.
No, 14.
Chris
That's what I have him as, and I'm almost certainly at least a couple of dollars higher on him than anyone else.
Yeah, I got him going for 9, but he went for 14.
Let's check in on everyone's team and see how things are going right now. Chris, we'll start with you. You got Manny Machado at 29, Jose Ramirez at 43, Ozuna at 25, Buxton at 9, Mercado at 1, Happ at 6. So some bargains there in the outfield. And then you got Greinke at 19. Oh, I missed that one. Scherzer at 33 and Sixto at 11.
Yeah, Scherzer and Greinke is kind of becoming my pitching strategy. I've done this in a couple of leagues. There's another one where I had Gerrit Cole in addition to the two of them. Obviously like that more, but yeah, I think Scherzer and Greinke, I have very few concerns about them despite their age, and I'm I want to lock in about 800 innings that I feel really good about is kind of my approach right now. So, I'm halfway-ish there with Greinke and Scherzer.
Whit Merrifield's
going to be a steal.
Currently at $23, and that's where it ends, and he goes for the same price as Alex Bregman. So, Scott, who would you rather have at the same price, $23, Whit Merrifield or Alex Bregman?
That's a good question. Probably depends on, if we're talking a draft context, I see them both as third rounders, and it probably depends on whether I have a bat already or not, and whether I have stolen bases already or not. I think I technically rank Bregman higher, but I'm more disappointed about missing out on Merrifield, in part because I already have 2 third basemen. But I got Trent Grisham for $16, so I already got a head start there in steals. I don't know.
Yeah.
I may regret that one. I may regret not going 24 on Merrifield. It's just hard to tell at this point, because we're 80 picks into a 276 pick thing.
And Luis Robert goes for 17. That's a great price.
I should have gone 18. I don't know what I was worried about. That's
we're going to see these
dumb Chris.
We're going to see these random hitters in rounds 3 through 6 usually in a rotisserie draft. I think those are where some of the discounts are going to come now. Yeah. Luis Robert for 17. I have him priced at 25. Chris has him priced at 24. Even Scott, who is lower on Robert, has him at 21. So just a really good price there at $17.
For me, it was just the only thing I was waffling on is I just don't know if I can afford the batting average risk with my build so far.
No, that's part of it for me too. I'm also there, like because I only have 3 starting pitchers at this point, and my best is Kenta Maeda, in my estimation. I kind of feel like I need to make
team, Scott.
I need some volume among the highest arms left. Like I need 2 or 3 of those guys as opposed to just one of those guys, since I didn't get the really high end guy or 2 that I wanted. So I'm kind of afraid to spend for any hitter right now.
Scott has Carlos Carrasco. What's up, Adam?
No, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I was just going to recap Scott's team, but you did win a player while we were talking. You won Ian Anderson for $15. Is he the first pitcher on your team?
Strasburg.
Oh, yeah, Strasburg. Okay.
And Hader and Karinchak. But I only got Ian Anderson because Chris loves him. So
that drops me below 50% on Ian Anderson so far, I believe. So that's a little disappointing. I think I had him. He was my most drafted player so far. I had him in 6 out of 12. Now it's 6 out of 13. So that is disappointing.
Not for me.
Javier Baez goes for $14. So another one that seems like a pretty good value. I have him at 18. Chris has him at 17, and Scott has Javier Baez for $14. Currently being bid on is Rafael Devers, and I hope he goes for 23 because that is the price that I paid for Alex Bregman. Devers is up to $22.
He went for more than Nolan Arenado. We know that much for sure.
Yep, that is.
I like him a lot more than Nolan Arenado. I'm definitely the highest on Devers. I have him 28th overall. But it wasn't like a huge discount. I have him at $24. He went for 22. It's a discount relative to, I have him right in the same range as Bregman, Rendon, and Seager, and he went for the cheapest of all of them. So in that sense, it is a relative value.
I bring up the Arenado comparison because that was, after Arenado got traded to the Cardinals, it was like, do we drop him behind Devers now? And I said yes, and I'm not sure the ADP data has reflected that, but
I don't
this one
think
room has
it's
reflected
close.
that.
Zach Plesac currently at $18 to who? Scotty Dubs, trying to get the 4th of his top 35 ranked starting pitchers, and it happens at $18. Scott, we just spoke about him on, I think it was Monday's podcast, Boomer Bust, and I asked you if you were worried about the slow start to the spring, and you said you were not. You were not concerned for Plesac.
I'd rather it not be a slow start, but just trying to be consistent with my standards. I don't hear anything about his delivery being off or his pitches being ineffective or his velocity being down. So, if you believe in the player and there's not any of that noise going on, then you should continue to believe in the player regardless of what's happening in spring training.
Will Smith, catcher for the Dodgers, is the next player up, and he's up to $7. Again, JT Realmuto went for 18. So let's see where the bidding on Will Smith stops, because many have him as a breakout candidate at the position, and he's still going to 11. I believe there was a Roto draft that we did where Tim McLeod, let's see if he wins him. Tim McLeod wins Will Smith for $11. He actually drafted Will Smith ahead of JT Realmuto. So that tells you how much Tim McLeod likes Will Smith this year.
I think it's JT Realmuto, Will Smith, and then everyone else at catcher basically this season.
Charlie Morton, next man up, nominated by Adam. Adam, you going to be in on this? Your boy? Yep.
So Frank, why weren't you bidding up Tim McLeod if you knew he liked Will Smith more than Realmuto? You could push the envelope. You got the hammer right now, don't you?
I don't. Do I? I have. I'm at 108. So there's a few people that have more money than me left. I don't want to get stuck with a $12 Will Smith. That's my biggest thing there, Scott.
Does anybody
Scott, or Adam?
Obviously,
that
some
was
people
do.
do.
Charlie Morton for 14.
Was good.
That's good.
Well, Ian Anderson for 15 and Charlie Morton for 14. You're approving?
I like both of them. Charlie Morton's velocity has been 94, 95 in spring. He looks like he's back. He was awesome in the postseason. I'm pretty confident. I think I'm going to start moving him up a little more in my draft board.
Can I get Scott's opinion on the Braves pitchers that I just got?
Do it.
Anderson and Morton?
14 and $15, yeah.
I think it's fine. I don't think I would have gone any more on either, but that's right around the range that I might have paid. Ian Anderson, you got to expect there will be some workload restrictions in play there. Sorry, I have to try and figure out how I'm going to spend my money.
I also noticed you called me a moron. Very sly there. You said, I don't think I'd go any more on them. I noticed that.
No, I mean, obviously there's a durability concern for Morton because other than 2019, he's never really, at least since he picked up velocity after leaving Pittsburgh, he's never been somebody who could log a lot of innings, except for that 1 year, 2019. And then Ian Anderson, you expect there's going to be workload restrictions just because he's technically a rookie now. And obviously didn't accumulate that many innings last year because nobody did.
You think I'm a moron? Okay, that's cool.
Blake Snell goes for $27, $2 more than Lance Lynn. So that probably makes sense based on the rankings. And of course, this is the preferred format for Blake Snell. I do think he will be better in Roto or categories leagues versus in head-to-head points. Tommy Edman. Who's banging their deck? Is that Chris or Scott?
Go ahead, Tim McLeod. I dare you. Go 11. This is as high as I'm going for Tommy Edman.
And boom!
Again,
goes the dynamite for Scotty.
Thrilled with Byron Buxton for 9.
And I got Tommy Pham for $10. So, all right, you get some speed out of all three of those players. Buxton for 9. I got Pham for 10. Tommy Edman there goes for $10 to Scott as well. Oh man, Andrew Vaughn.
I was wondering when to throw him out there, Andrew Vaughn.
This is not a good time to do it because there's too much money left on the board.
Yeah.
By the way, Edman has triple eligibility.
Yeah. He's second short in outfield.
And he's obviously going, third short. He's going to pick up second. He's going to be quadruple eligible.
And he's been leading off, I think. It's been him and Matt Carpenter who have been leading off so far for the Cardinals in spring when they have their normal lineup in.
Which makes me optimistic he's going to get back to being a quality base stealer. I had 4 middle infield options written down that, guys who I see meeting the speeds need that I would be willing to go $10 on. And Tommy Edman was one of them. He was the first one to be nominated, and I got him for exactly 10. So obviously, a bit of a risk there that those others aren't going to go for less than 10, but I'm assuming there will be steals desperation that, I don't know, maybe it'll only increase as this thing plays out. But, obviously there's going to be less dollars in play later on too.
On that topic, I have Story, Yelich, and Betts. How aggressive should I be getting a base stealer?
Not at all.
You think I'm covered? Because Yelich is a question mark. He had 4 steals in 58 games last year.
Yeah, I mean, if he's back to form, he'll be stealing bases again. There's a question mark there for Yelich just in terms of all around performance. But if he's back, he'll be all the way back, I think. 4 steals with the OBP he had, in a short season.
He was on a 50-30 pace in 2019, before the knee injury.
Yeah, before the knee injury. I hope his career is not like, well, after that knee injury. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, but I wouldn't expect him to steal 30.
Chris, you won Xander Bogaerts for $25 while we were chatting it up there. How do you feel about that price?
Love it. I have him, looks like, let me see, like $5 ahead of that Seager, Devers, Rendon, Bregman range. And I got him for less than Rendon and only a couple dollars more than Devers and Bregman. So I'm very happy with that.
Randy Arozarena now.
And kind of solves my batting average concerns a little bit, or at least makes me have to worry about it a little less.
Let's see what that batting average is looking like, Chris. I would say 275-ish for Machado, probably 290 for Bogart, something like that. Ramirez 275, Ozuna probably 275, 280 maybe. And then Buxton, I mean, who knows?
240,
250.
245, yeah.
Yeah. Mercado
260-ish.
Yeah. I don't think your batting average is terrible actually right now where you're at.
No, but I need power. And I'm going to have to start sacrificing batting average for power pretty soon.
Right.
So I want to make sure that I have a better base there.
Talk to me about this guy, Randy Arozarena. I hate him because of the Yankees. But $15 for Randy Arozarena, that feels like too much to me.
Too much. So him and Luis Robert, Robert goes for 17, Arozarena goes for 15. And those are two of the boomer bust players that we talked about recently. I mean, there's big upside for Randy Arozarena, especially in this format with the power and speed. Scott, what do you think about that price at 15?
I actually have him down for 17, so I don't have a problem with 15.
Kyle Tucker is currently on the board, and I think Scott wanted to make his answer short and sweet because I saw he was bidding on him. So let's see how
I was.
How high Kyle Tucker goes.
Everybody's bidding on him. He's to 20 now, and I have him down for 24.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just don't think I can spend any more.
We're starting to get to the deflated part, especially for hitters. I think all the hitters pretty much at this point are going to go for less than their expected price.
Does Kyle Tucker have all-star potential or top 5? Does he have superstar potential?
I think so.
Tucker,
I think there is 30
Tucker.
homer, 20 steal potential there, maybe 25 steal. The batting average and the plate discipline haven't been great, but they were much better in the minors. So, it's possible he takes a step forward and has a peak season where he hits like 285 with 30 homers and 25 steals. And, that's entirely possible.
I'm a little bit more skeptical of the batting average on Tucker. Not that I think it's going to be bad. I think he's probably going to be between 260 and 270. He hits a lot of fly balls. So normally, lots of fly balls can lead to a low BABIP. He should strike out a little bit more than league average. So if I'm just projecting batting average for Tucker,
that's just talking like best case scenario. Like I think he could be someone who gets his strikeout rate around league average or maybe a little below it. But he's definitely not a guarantee for a good batting average.
So Tucker went for 22. I had him for 24. Eloy Jimenez just went for 20. I had him for 21. So we're still almost getting to what I project them for. I might be a little low on Jimenez compared to people in general.
Yeah, I have him for 20, so I'm there with you.
We're still almost there, but you can tell people are more hesitant in their bidding because they know they got a lot of needs to fill still.
Ozzy Albies, who is maybe the best hitter available, just got thrown out here, and
number 2 for me.
Let's see what happens here with Ozzy, who we have for quite a bit more than he is going for at this point. Eloy Jimenez, in the meantime, went for I think Scott mentioned he went for $20. Ozzy Albies.
So I probably shouldn't have gone 10 on Tommy Edman, huh? I feel worse about that. So the other 3 guys, I'll just name them. The other 3 guys I was considering were Dylan Moore, who may go for more. Ozzy Albies goes for 19.
Those are 3 great prices in a row. Borderline third.
That one's great for sure. 19 for Albies.
Yeah, and I thought about getting in, but I have a lot of positions to fill too.
Me too. $41 left. How much do you have? 140?
I have over 100.
108.
I have the least amount of money left. I'm never in this position. This is really strange for me. Gosh, sucks.
See how much Tim Anderson goes for. Throw him out here. There's still a few shortstops. I think Gleyber Torres is out there still as well. But for anyone who needs speed, Tim Anderson's probably going to be a popular candidate at this point.
And batting average.
I think that's the one that's going to gnaw on me the rest of this thing is Edman for 10, because if I didn't spend 10 on Edman yet, I could have definitely gone 20 on Albies, and planned to spend 5 on that middle infield spot instead of 10. Albies is going to give me steals too, right?
Yep. Maybe, a similar amount.
Yeah.
I know the projections are more like 15-ish for for Edman, but it could be.
And that's what I'd project Albies for too. But it's possible he goes crazy and steals 25. It's possible either of them do.
Hey, I have a random question. Is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa going to play catcher anymore?
Probably not.
No. I would take the under on 4.5 games at catcher this year. So he will not gain eligibility.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he got a single one last year, did he?
I would take the under on 1. Yeah, I think they're done with that.
Okay.
I mean, maybe he'll get 1.
But for the audience, if you play in a Yahoo league, he is catcher eligible there.
All right. This is where the salary cap draft begins. Shohei Ohtani, another day, another dinger. He hit a bomb off of Shane Bieber on Tuesday. Straightaway center field over the batter's eye. Just a mammoth. He had 2 home runs on Monday as well. The guy is crushing it in the spring. I'm just going to talk him up as much as I possibly can.
He's looked, awesome when he's been on the mound. He's throwing 97 to 100 miles an hour. Splitters looked great.
The sweet sounds of Scott's phone. I missed that.
Adam, did you text Scott on purpose so that his phone would go off in the middle?
Oh, no.
No, it was actually my sister texting me about this. So she's going to hear us talking about me receiving the text now. It's very...
I was like, what is that strange yet familiar sound? Oh, it's phone.
Oh, Shohei Ohtani. He's up to 12. Come on, Chris. I know you want him.
That's too much for me.
Too much at this point. Yeah, I mean, if we did this a month ago, I think he's probably under $10. But the spring has been pretty exciting for one Shohei Ohtani. So we'll see. On CBS, of course, he has both pitcher and utility eligibility. But this is a weekly league, so when you set your lineup before the week starts, you have to figure out where do you want to put him, utility or at starting pitcher. You can't reap both of the rewards at the same time unless you are in a daily league. Oh, TapHap AMC, we're back. We're back.
Yeah, James Paxton, $1.
James Paxton, who...
Oh, B-Don. Oh, RJ. Well, I'm definitely not going $4. No chance.
James Paxton has yet to make his spring training debut. He has pitched in some simulated games.
Serious right now? James Paxton is going to go for 4 at least. That's just too much for me.
He should be a $1 player.
I've got him for 3, but yeah, I wouldn't push.
He's somebody I really feel like I need to see pitch.
Yeah.
Like with radar gun readings and not what you're getting in a sim.
Yeah.
A sim game.
While we were talking before, Tim Anderson, I threw him out and I knew that I wanted to win him, but I did not bid on him until it was the very last bid. So that is at times when I know that it's, one of the best players available that are left. And I know that I want to be in the bidding on that player. I will throw them out and then I won't get in on the bidding until it really starts slowing down, just to kind of make people think that I'm not in on them. So yeah, I wind up with Tim Anderson at $20, and now Kyle Hendricks is up. James Paxton wound up going for $5. Let's see how high this bad boy goes. Kyle Hendricks. Oof, man. No discount on pitching. What other pitchers are left? Ugh.
He was
years old instead of 31 years old. Right? I mean, it's just surprising to me that he's only 31 because he throws so softly that he's like Jamie Moyer out there.
Okay, so that was the case where I nominated the guy I wanted because Hendricks was my highest ranked healthy pitcher available, and I had to know how much I was going to get him for so that I could know how much I had to spend on whatever hitters we're going through now.
Yeah.
And Andres Jimenez is that other middle infielder I would have considered. He's up now. I would have considered instead of Tommy Edman. He goes for 4 to Frank. So I'd much rather have him for 4 than Tommy Edman for 10.
I tried to put 5 on there. I don't know what happened. Can you go back?
No, I think your max bid is $4, Adam.
That can't be true, right? There's no way.
28.
No, it's 28. Screw you.
Oh man. Yeah. So what did I write down Andres Jimenez for? I had him for around 8. So I got him at $4 and I get him at that middle infield spot, and I'm getting some speed now. I needed some. I pick up Tim Anderson and Andres Jimenez now as my middle infielder. He does have third base eligibility if I want to throw him at corner as well. And Jimenez has just been crushing it in the spring. So looks like he will be the everyday starting shortstop to begin the season for the
Could be the number 2 hitter.
Yeah, I saw a lineup that resembled something similar to opening day, I think, for Cleveland either yesterday or on Tuesday. And I think he was batting 6th or 7th. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see for Andres Gimenez.
Yeah, I think the last couple of days he's been lower in the lineup, but he was batting 1st or 2nd for a while. Could have just been trying to get him a extra plate appearance or 2.
Springer goes off the board for 19. So again, another one of those late 3rd, early 4th round hitters going for that 18 to 22 range. Springer went for 19 again. I got Tim Anderson for 20. Ozzie Albies went for 19. Eloy went for 20. Kyle Tucker went for 22. So all that inflation up top has led to some really nice values here for those mid-round hitters. And now Luke Voit, Adam, there's a Yankee on the board.
This is one of the Yankees I don't want.
Why is that? Talk to us.
I think he's going to be really streaky. He's a kind of an all or nothing player. And so when he has 2 months of production, it wouldn't surprise me if he had a month that was terrible. So we'll see what he goes for. But I think to me, based on the other prices, he's like a $12 player. And no, he's at $12 right now. Now he's at 13. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really feel the need to have Luke Voit.
And of course, you are buying him off of a career year, a shortened season, where he led all of baseball in home runs. Luke Voit did. He hit 22 home runs, and he is up to $15 for Scott. Is he going to get him? Is he going to get him? And he does. Scott, you get Luke Voit at 15, and you have him priced up at $22. I believe you also got him in Tout Wars. So Scott doubling down on some Yankees. Let's go.
Uh-huh.
Are you okay? You don't sound very.
I don't know if I'm okay. Honestly, I don't know. It was not part of the plan, but
Do you left out, or what? You just really wanted to get a player there?
I thought the price was right, and I didn't have a first baseman yet, and I got 5 starting pitchers I feel good about, so I'm not as concerned about that. I don't know. Guess I had some money burning a hole in my pocket for a hitter.
RJ is repeatedly screwing people over with his jump bids. It's like every time he does like a $5 jump bid, someone bids immediately after. And it's been like 5 or 6 players in a row, I feel like. So that's fun.
At Olsen. Oh, there you go. There's that power hitting first baseman. Are you going to get him, Adam? Do you have a first baseman?
No, I don't. Okay, I'm in.
All right, you're in. You're in.
Thank you for notifying me.
I'm happy to do so.
I'm going to. Yeah, I mean, I think. No, now I feel like it's too expensive. So tell me, how much should Dominic Smith go for? Because I've heard you talk about him a lot.
I can tell
you
around $10, I think.
His valuation has been all over the board throughout this draft process.
Yeah. Like,
oh, that's a good price.
Just the way that you wait, you're saying $14 is a good price for Matt Olson when I got Luke Voit for $15.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's
no, they're both. I should have jumped in on either one. I have Voit ranked higher than Matt Olson. There's a few other first basemen I don't mind as fallback options, but those I think both are good prices. I like. Yeah. I have Voit for $20 myself, and I have Olson at 18.
So Dinelson Lamet's going now. He's up to $10 already, which is kind of more than I thought he'd go for. Because now we know we're pretty sure he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. So that's just another concern piled on top of the others. But he goes for 11. It wouldn't have been me, but I understand spending that much on him.
Yep.
So what were we talking about before the Olsen bid went through? It was something interesting.
Well, you talk about first baseman. I asked about Dominic Smith, but we should probably talk about which positions are getting thin, where it's like, well, I need to get one of my. I don't have a third baseman. I don't have a first baseman right now. Do we have to start making sure we have one of the top X amount at the position? Does it not really matter?
I think we're down to the last 2 of that group that we all kind of agree that top 13. I think Marcus Semien may be starting to get pushed into that group and making it a 14. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But shortstop's definitely getting a little thin. Second base is in pretty good shape. There's still 5 or 6 guys who I'd be pretty happy with as my starter. So I think we're okay there.
Kevin
And
Biggio just went
first
for
base
10.
is in pretty good shape.
Kevin
Speaking
Biggio,
of second base.
None of us are fans
That's
of.
fine.
We all have Kevin Biggio. I believe we all have Kevin Biggio as a bust this year. But for $10, Scott, you have him priced out at 17.
I know.
At 14.
I
I
have him
have
at 14.
I was thinking about jumping in there because I feel like I could use some more steals too.
It just didn't really fit what I needed right now.
Kevin Biggio for 10 when I took Tommy Edman for 10. Come on, Scott. Gosh. There's always one thing that happens in every one of these salary drafts that just it eats me up until the results start being put up in the league. I'm just gonna beat myself up over it.
Is this going to happen, Chris? Are you going to get Pete Alonso for 18?
I was hoping I could get him for like 15, but I said earlier, I needed a power hitter. He's, clearly the best one left and maybe the best one in baseball. So,
especially in a year with we think dead and ball is what they've rumored. Oh, I got to throw someone out here. Sorry. Nominate a player real quick. Let me throw this guy out here. Adam, if you want to jump in. Pete Alonso, so if there's going to be a dead and ball this year, I think someone who probably will not suffer is someone who just has as much pure power as Pete Alonso. It's not. I don't think that should affect him.
Yeah, so Gleyber Torres is who you nominated, and I have Trevor Story, and I have, very little money left. So I'm probably not going to, but I think Torres is going to bounce back. The thing is, he's not second base eligible. He's only shortstop eligible. Mm-hmm. I would love to get a middle infielder that's eligible I have Jake Cronenworth, so I guess I can, but then I need a second baseman. But anyway, I don't want Story and Torres because I'd like to have a little position flexibility. We haven't talked a lot about that, but I think it's pretty valuable once you start getting injuries and you look at the waiver wire, there's just not much there to have players that can play second or short, or you can move them around. So I don't want 2 shortstops who are only eligible at short. That's something.
Who's perfect for that, Adam?
Who?
Tommy Edman. I'm coming back around.
Who I'm just learning about. He's on my team. I keep looking at him and I hate that he's on my team. Like I just hate it. Jake Cronenworth.
Oh, right.
I just hate it. Like wow.
Whatever.
That's fine.
What did he ever do to you, Adam? Come on.
It's like, who is he? I don't know what to expect. I don't know how to evaluate him. What the hell do I have in Jake Cronenworth?
I think he could be a batting average that won't hurt you. I don't know that he's going to play every day. He's probably going to be a super utility guy for the Padres, but double-digit home runs, maybe close to double-digit steals. He's a fine player.
Okay, well, yeah, whatever. Everybody, I know everybody else on my team. That's one of my first qualifications. Do I know you? That's usually how I start my draft.
Gleyber Torres went for $15. Seems like a fair value.
No discount for Wilson Contreras.
Wilson Contreras goes for $8. Will Smith went for, I believe it was 11.
By the way, that $15 price for Torres, that was compared to Javier Baez for 14, and I believe Carlos Correa was 13.
Yep. Yes,
so those are the 3 mid-round shortstops I lumped together, and they all went for about the same.
Well, Mr. Adam Mazer is snoozing over there, and he just got Dom Smith nominated.
So how much? All right, I'm not. Is he going to play every day?
I don't know.
That's the hope, but
right.
I don't know if he can play every day in the outfield.
They got a couple of defensive-minded outfielders who bat right-handed, so you get a little nervous. I have Dominic Smith as a $12 player, but based on the way this salary cap draft has played out, like I'm not going 12 for him here.
Because more than 9.
It's worth pointing out he's been good 2 seasons in a row, but he doesn't even have 400 plate appearances. So, I feel like if this were a guy coming off 400 good or 396 good plate appearances in a single season, I'm not sure he'd be going, top 100 like he currently is, or right around there. So, that's not to say he shouldn't, but that's worth taking into account.
I like Dom Smith quite a bit. I like the skill set. He makes a lot of contact. He hits lefties well. People don't realize this. He's younger than Pete Alonso, and he has prospect pedigree. It didn't work out at first, but the past 2 years, he's been really good. 139 games since the start of 2019 for Dom Smith, a 937 OPS. So when he's played, he's been awesome. I think they're going to find ways to get his lineup in his bat in the lineup. So nice buy, Adam.
I think it's really important to have, especially in a league. Well, in any league, I think it's really important to have some boom or bust players on your team. I mean, that's how you win, you know?
Yeah.
Bust, that sucks, but you can replace them. If they boom, then, you know, then $9 could be a bargain. It's just, you have to take some chances. You have to have upside.
To put it in the context of a salary cap draft, if you get $260 of value for your team in 2021, you're probably going to finish in 6th place.
Chris, you might want to pay attention.
Yeah.
I love that we all know each other's favorites, and Chris's is Marco Gonzalez. Chris, you might want to pay attention to Marco Gonzalez, who's being hit on right now. He's fine. I mean, he's kind of like a lesser Kyle Hendricks, and Kyle Hendricks went for 22.
Gonzalez, I have him as a $7 player, so it's not like I like him that much. He's someone I've liked a lot more in years past relative to everyone else. This year, I'm not drafting him as much as I expected because there does seem to be, you know, someone who likes him more than I do in at least every one of my drafts.
So in between Dominic Smith and Marco Gonzalez was Dylan Moore, who I nominated. And he went for $11, which was even more than I paid for Tommy Moore. It was even more than Kevin Biggio went for, which is kind of why I threw him out here. It was another case of nominating a guy I want just to get it out of the way, know if it's realistic I should be holding out for him or not. And I found out it wasn't. So now if there's another Kevin Biggio for $10, I can be in on it.
So I bid on Gary Sanchez just now at $7, and he went one more at $8. And I don't know if this is the right mindset to have, but with knowing that Wilson Contreras went for $8, I just couldn't bring myself to bid anymore on Gary Sanchez. It's just, I would feel so bad about paying more for Sanchez than I would for Wilson Contreras. So I figured I stopped the bidding at 7, and I probably shouldn't have even gotten 7 for being honest. David Price for $2 right now to Chris. Marco G went for $8. Dylan Moore went for 11. So some steals there with Dylan Moore. He goes $1 more than Tommy Edman. Scott, we just have to compare every player to Tommy Edman at this point. So would you rather have Dylan Moore at 11 or Edman at 10? Where you got him?
Probably Edman at 11, but you know, I couldn't do it once I had been at 10 on Tommy Edman. I didn't have that much money I could devote to it. But just seeing that Kevin Biggio then went for 10 later, I was hoping I could get Dylan Moore for like 6 or 7, and it didn't happen. That's fine.
Let's see how much this should be interesting. Vladimir Guerrero.
Oh, there you go. No discount on Vladdy.
Did RJ just do that? Did he just jump in?
I don't think it was RJ.
No, it was someone else.
Yeah, Vlad looks. Oh, he's going for 19 right now. That's
more than Pete Alonso.
And he could be absolutely worth that. He's been hitting the ball really, really hard in spring, and the launch angle is up. It's double what it was in 2019, his highest so far out of his 2 seasons. So, you know, if Vladimir Guerrero is going to be a 13-degree launch angle guy, he's probably a superstar. I actually don't I think it's that simple. If he's elevating the ball consistently, he's going to be one of the best hitters in baseball. So, you know, it's too much. $19 is too much. I have him for 16, but it could really work out.
Yeah, I've had some second thoughts about calling Vladimir Guerrero a bust this year.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't call him a bust. I think it's the same way. It's the same way.
It worked out for me last year.
Yeah, it's just it's a risk reward thing for him. Yeah. Like I have him for $16 or $17, whatever. I don't think he's going to be worth that. I think he's either going to be worth like 6 or 37.
Mm-hmm. Again, that is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Some optimism with him in the spring thus far. Yordan Alvarez just went for $12. So,
yeah,
I want to jump in. It's just I need to save my money for other things at this point. I don't have a first baseman. I don't have a second baseman. I don't have not that I'm going to invest much.
Would you like Jake Cronenworth?
No, thank you, sir. So I like the price on Alvarez. I believe Nelson Cruz went for 13. So far, those util only bats sitting in that low teens range, $12 and $13 respectively. Charlie Blackmon up to. I feel like Greg Lathrop is just bidding on every player. How much money does this guy have left? Charlie, 12, and that's where he's going to stop. So could be a good value there. Adam, I know for years you've loved Charlie Blackmon.
I thought I was going to get him for $2, and then somebody bid. Yeah, I like Charlie Blackmon. He's good.
You've heard of him?
I did. I know him.
I have him as an $18 player, so
yeah,
I would have been happy if I had gotten him, and I was in the bidding. But
so look,
50 picks ago, you would have been happy to get him for $15. Right?
Yeah, 15 if he had gone out as the 30th player, I would have been thrilled with it.
I think that you could do one of these salary cap drafts, skip the first hour, and come back and have a kick-ass team with the Vladimir Guerreros and the Nick Castellanos who's being nominated now, and Charlie Blackmon's, Jordan Alvarez, like all these guys, and
you still need superstars though, and there hasn't been. Yeah.
I personally agree. Maybe I would get one, and then I would leave for an hour and try it. Because I just think there are so many good players that are still left. It's incredible. It's so many guys that are still in your top 12 at every infield position. And you could have, I don't know if it's going to be strong, but you're not going to be weak.
What I think would be a really interesting strategy, and I think Scott should try this at some point, is like $120 on your hitters. And just like, that's all you're going to spend, and the rest goes to pitching. That's kind of the opposite of how things have typically worked in a salary draft. But, that's the kind of thing that I think could, it would be really interesting to see, given the way this draft is going, where, in this $10 to $15 to $20 range, the hitters are so much better than the pitchers. You could get, you could have an offense built around, Pete Alonso and Charlie Blackmon and Vladimir Guerrero and guys like that, Gleyber Torres.
Well, it's like the equivalent of taking starting pitchers with your first 4 or 5 picks in the points league, right?
And that's basically what I've done in the head-to-head points league. Obviously, it's easier to justify in that format than it would be in this one, with all the hitter spots to fill and with a need to diversify categories for hitters. But that's the rationale I've made in a head-to-head points salary cap league the past 2 years, where it's just like there are so many quality hitters to go around that are going to go for very little because everybody's spending $50 on pitchers. So, the same rationale may apply. And for what it's worth, my most expensive hitter is $31. I don't think I'm going to have a $20 one otherwise. So I'm kind of doing that even now.
Yeah, I think what's going to end up hurting you is steals. That's where you're going to really struggle, and you might have to spend a lot of money on like Tommy Edman or something. No, you're going to have to pay up for some steals specialist, like what we used to do with Malik Smith or something like that.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked out of I accidentally clicked out of the window, and so I had to try to get back into the draft room just in time.
Are you going to go another bid on Keston Hiura?
No. I was happy with him at 11. I'll let him go at 12.
I thought you were going to get him with that oh no bid. He was going
and I just want to be clear, I wasn't trying to hold the clock out. That I legitimately clicked on a bookmark link on my browser and had to frantically press the back button.
Chris, you don't need to apologize, man. I am okay with the last second bid.
But I'm not, Frank.
But there's psychology behind it, man.
Exactly, and I hate that psychology.
It's definitely strategy.
I do quite a bit on play. Like a lot of the times when I'm getting ready, when there's a player nominated that I know that I want, I will wait until the bidding slows down a lot, and I will not jump in until it's under 5 seconds left.
Yeah, I have ADHD, so it's really hard for me to wait an extra 10 seconds. That it just like it really grinds my gears. It gets under my skin in a real way. In a way that I admit it's a weakness of mine in this type of league.
Adam, it is your turn to nominate a player.
There's someone I want to nominate, but based on what happened with Paxton, I just don't think it's the right time yet. So let's go with this Jose Barrios fella. I know him.
Man, pitching is looking a little barren right now, so will be interesting to see if you get a bit of a discount at this point for Jose Barrios or not.
There's still some guys.
After Barrios goes on the top of my list, there's Sonny Gray, who should start the year on the IL. Max Fried is still available. Jesus Luzardo, some names there. So we'll see.
There's some pretty good pitchers left. I mean, if you're just starting to build your staff now, you got a problem, but
it's not the best, right?
If you're filling out, your fourth, fifth starter, even your third, I think you could maybe get away with it.
Still no discounts on starting pitchers.
Jose Barrios is up at 15. I will pull up our values to see how much.
I got him at 12.
You have him at 12, and I have Barrios at 16. Scott has Barrios at 15. So, all right,
no discounts.
15. Yep, no discount. I mean, that's probably what Barrios should go for. He
probably would have gone for 25 an hour ago, but still.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, there hasn't been a pitcher nominated for a while. Marco Gonzalez went for $8. David Price went for $3. I guess some uncertainty about his role right now. He should be a starting pitcher, but there was a report that he's willing to do whatever for the team. I don't think that really matters much. Max Muncy up on the board. Scott, you need a second baseman? No, you don't. You have Edmund, but he plays everywhere. He plays first, he plays third.
Everywhere. I like it.
Adam's in on the bidding here as well.
I'm not anymore. I was on F5. Now it's 8 for Muncy.
Again, this is a batting average league, so Muncy takes a bit of a hit here. Better in OBP and head-to-head points, but I was about to say, but at $9, it's not bad. And then Scott gets sniped at the last second. And that will go final. Max Muncy goes for $10 to be Don. And let's catch people up. There were some other hitters that went in the meantime. After Blackman went for 12, Nick Castellanos went for 14. Joey Gallo went for 12, who's having a big spring thus far. Keston Hero went for 12. Yasmani Grandal, another catcher, went for $7, so $1 less than Gary Sanchez and Wilson Contreras. Jose Barrios for 15 and Max Muncy for 10. Trey Mancini is up, and he is already up to $6.
Come on, Scott.
Trey Mancini is one of those guys that I know just based on when he's nominated, I'm not going to have a shot at him. Like that's somebody I want for the end game. And you can't control who's actually going to be available there at the end game. So, yeah, I mean, $6, that's for him with the question marks there. That's not something I can justify.
I also want to encourage people to continuously look at the amount of money that everyone else in the league has. You don't want to lose sight of that. You could just kind of get lost in your own team, but you always should know where you are in relation to everybody. So I still have among the lowest amount of dollars left, but it's starting to even out. So in 20 more picks, I might be in a much stronger position. And always look at the max bid as well, because that's indicative of your strength.
A simple rule I have for that.
Frank.
Was that too much?
They're at $12 on Anthony Rizzo.
You're getting into a bidding war at a time when there's no bidding wars left.
I'm not bidding anymore.
For hitters, at least, yeah. Well, I like Rizzo. I think he's going to bounce back in a pretty significant way, but I have him for 12. So
yeah,
you were right to let him go.
He's one of the last starting-ish caliber first baseman. There's a few other guys I don't mind, but he was one that I was eyeballing there. I don't mind him for $12, but once he went,
still got 4 starting-ish first baseman.
Like the point of the rule I have, kind of the point of no return for balance how much money you have left versus max. Like when you're balanced, the amount of money you have left is twice what your max bid is. I'm basically just stopping and jumping in for $2, jumping in for $3 on a player I really want at that point. Like that's the cutoff for me. Twice as much. Okay, I'm done. I've spent all I'm capable of spending, and I just want to make sure I'm not reduced to nothing but $1 bids, because that's where you really get screwed in one of these, is if you got 9 spots to fill with $1 bids, and you're just going to keep getting all your nominations are going to get bid up every time, and you're left with the scrubbiest of the scrubs at the end.
So are you at that? You have $39 and your max bid is 28.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Okay. So you still feel like you can be fairly aggressive?
I wouldn't say aggressive. No, I probably have a couple of medium-sized buys left in me, and that's it. So I need to do it selectively. $9 max Muncy, I would have been fine with that because I actually do have a hole at second base. Tommy Edman isn't eligible there yet, but I couldn't go 11.
And Eric Hosmer goes for 6. You almost got him for 5, Chris.
Yeah, I would have been happy with him at 5. He would have to be my DH, and that's why I wasn't willing to keep pushing it. But $6 Eric Hosmer, I love that value.
Giancarlo, non si può.
Giancarlo, non si può stopparlo.
He is on the board, and we'll see how much he winds up. Oh, wait, hold on a second.
Trying to hit at 4 here.
I was like, this can't happen for $3. It's not going to happen. All right, so Stanton is up to 10. Alvarez went for.
We pushed him where he needed to be.
Alvarez went for about 12. And
I think 10. I think RJ's got it at 10.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have $84 left. My max bid is 64. But I still have a few holes here. I have 3 more outfielders. I only have 2 pitchers. So this is part of the strategy side of it. Is, of course, I would love to have Stanton at 11, but you kind of have to pick and choose your battles at this point.
Yeah.
Here's a battle you're going to pick.
Austin Meadows. It's hard to feel good about Dominic Smith at $9 when Stanton went for 10.
Yeah, I mean they've both got risk. They've both got upside. I think Stanton's upside's higher, but batting average is harder to find, and Dominic Smith could be legitimately helpful there. Whereas Stanton, you're kind of looking at Stanton, in a best case scenario as not hurting you in batting.
Frank, you might get him.
I definitely have Stanton. Stanton's like $4 more than Smith for me.
I'm done.
Which is
Do it,
I
Frank.
think fine.
Come on, Frank.
I even felt bad about going 14.
Why?
I got him for 15. That's
Yeah,
my value.
it's a good price for Meadows, and I love him. But again, I have so many needs, and there's still some other positions that I'm going to need to get more pitching. So
Yeah,
there's a couple better outfielders left too.
Let's see
may
what
go for
Frank's
cheaper.
Let's see what Frank's pitching looks like.
I only have 2 pitchers. I have Giolito and Castillo. So
I mean that's pretty great.
Those are 2 great pitchers to have. But
You got to step up here for Greg. He wants JD Martinez nominated.
all right, so let's pause this.
All right, well, let me see. I would suspect he's already filled his DH spot.
Yeah,
he can't nominate him.
Yep.
Let's just restart, I think. Let's just restart the draft.
So Stanton went for $10. Eric Hosmer at 6. Sonny Gray, I wanted to ask you guys about. Sonny Gray went for 12. So he can't nominate. JD Martinez. Sonny Gray at 12. Scott, is that enough of a discount? Would you rather have Sonny Gray at 12 or Jose Barrios at 15?
Good question. Let me see here. I would rather have Jose Barrios at 15. Had to consult my values. I actually have Sonny Gray as only a $9 player now because that's how worried I am about the back.
Yeah, I Charlie Morton at 14. I would rather have.
Obviously, we know he's going to miss 2 turns at the start of the year, at least Sonny Gray, and just we saw the back kind of limit his effectiveness when he was dealing with it last year. He may be fine. It may end up, $12 and turns out to be a good buy, but more risk than I want to take on for that price.
I should have saved more money for this part of the draft, man. Just all my favorite guys are being nominated right now.
Frank, you gotta spend your money. Don't fall into this trap of like I have a lot of spots. You have a lot of spots that you have to fill with guys like Joe Musgrove.
No, I'm not going to do it.
You don't get to.
Yeah, it's I have this problem every time. Like I look at this range and I'm like, oh my goodness, I could have had player X for $3 less than the one I actually got for $4 less. And it's just like there will never be a salary cap draft where you got maximum efficiency out of all your dollars. That just will never happen.
But
So
Frank's the bully right now. Frank has.
You have to overpay.
Nominate a player. All right, I'm going to get auto nominated here. I was too busy crying about Joe Musgrove.
You guys were talking about JD Martinez, I think potentially getting outfield eligibility. Is that going to happen?
yeah,
He's played a few games here in the outfield and left field for the Red Sox.
I think it's more like, I mean, it's more likely for him than Yordan Alvarez and Nelson Cruz. Stan and Martinez, I expect both to pick up outfield eligibility at some point. I don't know how early it'll be.
Man, he could really be such a bargain if the in-game video thing was really the reason for it. So tempting. 11 right now for Martinez.
Yeah, I'm going 11.
I think
that's as high as I can go, I think.
He will turn 34 in August. So, it's certainly not guaranteed either way.
Well, then he'll be fine. Trade him in July.
He struck out in a third of his plate appearances this spring for whatever that's worth. Probably nothing, but I will put it out there.
Not nothing. Very little.
He went for 12, which is the same that is that the same Alvarez went for?
Yeah, I think so.
And then Cruz went for one more.
Yep.
And Stanton went for what, 10?
I mean, I like the price of all of them. It's just I know sluggers is not where I can devote my money. I need speedsters and pitchers. Maybe if I hadn't already bought an $18 Eugenio Suarez, but that ship has sailed.
So what do people like about Dylan Carlson, who's now $4 bid?
He's young and he's
like that.
Potentially a power speed guy with good plate discipline. He's only had one really big season in the minors as a prospect, but he's been young for his level at pretty much every stop. And his one good season in the minors was really, really good. And it was in 2019.
Thank you for pointing out that he was nominated, Adam. I had no idea, and I just won him for $5.
My pleasure.
So I have Dylan Carlson as a breakout. Chris is a little bit more skeptical, but that last minor league season that we saw from Carlson, he was a 2020 bat. I'm not necessarily expecting that from him, but 20 to 25 home runs, double-digit steals, I think is attainable for Carlson. Really struggled at the beginning part of last season, got sent back to the alternate site, and then the final couple of weeks and even in the postseason looked like he bounced back. So I am buying the breakout for one Dylan Carlson, especially.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't quite buy the power. But that's not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily mean he won't hit for power. I just, average exit velocity was only 87.4 miles per hour. But $5 is a nice buy.
Oh, let's go back to nominating closers. I don't know.
Gio Urshela goes for $6. Same price as Eric Hosmer. And those seem like good discounts for corner infield type bats at this point. Brad Hand, nominated by Scott.
Yeah, Urshela is somebody I probably would have bid $10 on if he got nominated at the start.
Yep.
But he didn't, so he goes for $6 to someone else.
We are deep here in the weeds of this salary cap draft. For those that are listening on the podcast, or if you are still watching live, we appreciate you for being here. And I realize we have gone way longer than I actually thought we were going to. So might break this bad boy down into 2 different podcasts and create a little bit more content out of it. More listenable. I don't know if people are going to sit down for 3 hours and listen to one thing at once. So we shall see. Frankie Montas nominated and looked good in his spring training debut over the weekend.
I listen to 3-hour podcasts all the time, Frank. I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you ever listened to Hardcore History? It's like 5 hours long.
I really don't understand. Like I don't know how the typical podcast listener operates, but usually when I listen to podcasts, I queue one up, I start listening to it, I pause it whenever there's no more time for listening, and then I just go straight back to it. Most people don't operate that way.
No, well, as I've been listening to your podcast, I have to find excuses to drive. The only time I can do it. So yeah, it takes me 4 or 5 car rides to get through a position preview.
Yeah, I can't listen to podcasts while I'm working. I can't listen to someone talking while I'm writing. It just doesn't work for me. I need like loud music. So that's definitely been a downside of the stay-at-home era, is much less time for the podcasts.
Hello, David Bowie. How are you doing today?
Hi, David. Get out of here with your butt.
Yoel Moncada up to $10, and he was that slowed down at around 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw both Chris and Scott get in there. It's just sometimes you have to price enforce, even if you don't love a player. I mean,
I don't consider that price enforcing. I would have gladly taken him for $6 or $7.
And I don't necessarily mean price enforcing in a negative way. I don't know if it always has a negative connotation, Scott, but just because you're price enforcing a player that you are, iffy about, you could still feel really good about getting him at $5 or $6. So there would be nothing wrong with that if you actually did get Moncada, but he wound up going for $10 there. Frankie Montas went for $9. Brad Hand, another closer, went for $9. I think Kenley Jansen went for 8 or 9 earlier. So we all have Brad Hand ranked higher than Kenley Jansen. So that's
But I have a relevant thing. Okay, so I was considering going 11 on Moncada. Obviously, I don't have a lot of money left, but Jose Ramirez, Machado, Bregman, Rendon, LeMahieu, Devers, Arenado, Biggio, Suarez, Moncada, Muncy, Urshela, Bryant, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Tommy Edman. They're all off the board. Andres Jimenez. Those are all the third base eligible players. Are there still third base eligible players that are starters? Matt Chapman is available. Donaldson.
Yep.
Yeah, these
Alec
guys.
Bohm.
You're okay with them as your starter?
Maybe Austin Riley.
Well, Chapman, I'm definitely okay with as my starter. Donaldson, I'd be nervous, but obviously he has starter upside. Bohm, nah, I wouldn't be thrilled with him as my starter.
It depends on your team build. Like if you've got someone that you expect to be better than the average shortstop, it makes it a little easier to live with a third baseman who's a little below average. So, that's also relevant.
And Josh Bell went for $9 while you guys were talking, and I was in on the bidding there. I don't have a first baseman yet, and he goes for the same price as Max Muncy. So Muncy looks like a great buy at this point. And
Chapman for $8. Matt Chapman for $8.
That could be a potential steal as well. All these, we said it earlier, post 100 ADP guys are just going for way cheaper than they should. Kevin Gausman went for $10.
I could see Matt Chapman's one of those guys. If he won an MVP award this year, I wouldn't be stunned. Obviously, that's a little less relevant for fantasy because he, is probably the best defender in baseball. But
right,
he would have to hit real. Like I could see him having the Josh Donaldson career path.
Well, I would take the over on 30 home runs for Chapman, if nothing else. The one that surprises me is Josh Bell for 9 right before that, which I call Bell a sleeper this year. I like him at the discounted price, but I actually have him as a $7 player and not the 9 he went for, when like basically everyone else going in this range is going for less than I project them for. So that was interesting. I wonder if it's, let's see, Tim McLeod won him, if there's some desperation at first base there. No, he already had Matt Olson. He already had Vladimir Guerrero. That was interesting.
Patrick Corbin goes for $8. So we are into that $8 to $10 range for starting pitchers. We're seeing a lot of guys go. Austin Nola. It's an interesting one.
I just looked at Chris Mitchell's team, and I really like it. His pitching staff is very good.
Let's see what he's working with. His
offense isn't terrible.
So at this point, he has he spent a decent bit here, but he has Aaron Nola for 33, Jack Flaherty for 31. He has Chris Paddock for 21. He has Blake Snell for 27, Jose Barrios for 15. So
Yeah, he's spent $141 on 7 pitching spots so far. So it's,
Yep.
he's paying for it as well.
Also got James Paxton for 5 and Brad Hand for 9. So you hear often people talk about a pitcher hitter split. How much should I spend on hitting versus pitching? Should I spend 65% of my budget, 70% of my budget on hitters because you have to fill more hitter spots? I mean, it's up to you. I don't know that there's like a set way to build your team. I mean, if you want to go pitching heavy, I don't think you have to follow a set pitcher hitter split. What do you think, Scott?
I've never approached it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I look for where the scarcities are, where I'm going to get the most impact for my dollars, whether that's a player with a unique skill set or a scarce position. These days, obviously, it's more starting pitcher where, I devote more money to that than I might have in the past. And let's see, I filled 5 pitcher spots, all starting pitchers, of course. And how much does that add up to? 46, 71 plus 33, 104 on 5 pitcher spots. So yeah, not quite as much as Chris Mitchell spit there.
I'm going to leave, Frank.
That's all good. You've been here for a long time. Why don't you remind everyone where people can find you, Adam?
Will you want like my address?
We'll send you some Chef Boyardee.
Oh God, I think finally threw it out. I am on Twitter at Adam Azer, AIZER. I'm on the Fantasy Football Today podcast. Chris and I are going to be doing Fantasy Football Today in 5 tonight when this salary cap is done. We will talk about Marvin Jones and things like that. Oh, and gosh, the Patriots. Jeez. People know how to find me, Frank. People know how to find me.
Yeah, I was 100% being facetious, but I'm happy that you went with it anyway, and you continue to tell us.
You can find me upstairs watching some basketball for the rest of the night and finishing this. And for some reason, I have Dylan Cease on my team. I don't know why I got him.
Go Knicks. Go Knicks. Go. Let's go.
All right. See you guys.
See you later, Adam.
Right.
Appreciate it, man.
See you, Adam.
I don't know how to leave. Oh,
that's probably the best exit of all time from Adam. And
That's a decent buy there. Max Fried for $12. I like that.
I don't love Max Fried, but I need
you need people.
I was tempted to go 13 there, Frank, even with 5 starting pitchers already.
Oh my gosh.
I don't like Fried much either, but I have him as an $11 player. So at this point, the way the starting pitchers have gone, that's relative steal.
I would take Fried at $12 versus Jose Barrios, who went for 15. So I feel all right about that.
Yeah, I have him right in the same range, I think.
Oh, whoa. Adam, just because you left doesn't mean you could just throw whoever you want out here.
Austin Riley is the player he threw out, by the way.
Yes, I should. I'm hosting a podcast. I should mention that. Austin Riley. I'm not going to do it. I think there's a few other corner infielders. I like Austin Riley a lot, but there are a few other corner infielders I think might even go for the same price later on, just because there's not as much money to go around. So Austin Riley goes for $2. And Adam is angry in the chat. Let's do a little roundup of our teams, and then we'll probably wrap this bad boy up. So Will Myers is thrown out right now, and let's move on over to, let's see how you're doing, Scott. You got Austin Nola for $2, who does have a fractured finger and probably will not be ready for the start of the season. But if he was healthy, he probably would have went for, my guess is $5 to $7, somewhere in that range. You got Luke Voigt for 15. You got Anthony Rendon for 27. Corey Seager for 31. Tommy Edman for $10. Eugenio Suarez for 18. And you also got Trent Grisham for $16. And you just won Will Myers for 10. So he is your second outfielder going in on the Padres there. So before we get to your pitchers, why don't you talk to us about your hitters, Scott, and how you're feeling and what you think you need to, what needs you think you need to fill the rest of the way.
Well, I feel good. I technically don't have a second baseman yet, though hopefully within the first week I'll be able to move Tommy Edman there. But I'm going to need a second middle infielder either way. Look, I got Seager and Rendon are going to be batting average standouts. Edman might help with that as well. I've got a lot of power. Not in addition to Seager and Rendon, I got Luke Voigt, Suarez, and I got 3 potential steal sources in Grisham, Edman and just now Will Myers. Well, I was willing to go 10 for Will Myers because I think he is a pretty good bet for 15 to 20 steals in addition to power, big power. So I think I like the balance there. I'm going to need a cheap middle infield option. I'm going to need a couple cheap outfielders, but there's always cheap outfielders to be had. I feel good about it. I like it.
AJ Pollock went for $2 to RJ White, and it seems like the bidding is slowing down for Marcus Semien, and Semien winds up going for $6. So Scott talked about the hitting on a team. Let's look at those pitchers. We know Scott loves his pitchers, and Carlos Carrasco at $25, Dylan Bundy at $15, Kyle Hendricks at $22, Kenta Maeda at $24, and Zach Plesac at $18. So Scott, you do achieve the 5 of your top 35 ranked, but none of your top 11 ranked starting pitchers. So you don't have that bona fide ace, but you do. It's spread a little bit more evenly here. How do you feel about this pitching staff?
Yeah, it could be a lot worse considering the most I spent on anybody is 25. I got 5 of the 35. If it was a draft, that would mean I spent 5 of my first 10 picks on starting pitchers, which is what I aim to do. If I do trust in the ability of all these guys, kind of iffy on Bundy, fair, but I think there's a good chance he's really good and eats a lot of innings. So, and the reason I go 5 is because I guard against 1 or 2 of them collapsing. I think it's fine. I wish I could have gotten like a Yu Darvish for 30 instead of a Maeda for 24, but that was not realistic. And I think I made the most of what was available to me, getting 5 guys that I still think are basically high end.
Josh Donaldson wound up going for $3 to Adam, which I actually think is a very good buy. Corner infielder goes for super cheap there. And then Chris, you get your guy. You say Kikuchi. I appreciate it. Stick to your guns. Got to get your guys. Jorge,
I'm mad about it.
Why you threw him out for 2? Were you expecting to get him for 2?
I was hoping to get him for 2. I would have been happy to get him for 4. Or no, I guess 5 was my only chance. So
Jorge Soler almost went for 3.
Yeah.
That was making me nervous.
We're going to get some real discounts here. Jorge Soler. Oh, and Chris jumps in with the 6. Jorge Soler up to $7. Joey Gallo went for 12. I don't think they're dissimilar players if they both stay healthy. And it stops there. Yeah. So Soler at $7 versus Joey Gallo, who went for 12. Chris, let's take a look at your team. We'll start with your offense. You don't have any catchers yet. You have Pete Alonso for 18. You have Manny Machado for 29. You have Xander Bogaerts for $25. Jose Ramirez for 43. Marcell Ozuna for 25. Byron Buxton at 9. Can't let this happen. Trying to bid. Oh, no, RJ White bid. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Dansby Swanson's going for way too cheap. Oh, man, do I want to do this? All right, let's talk about Dansby Swanson first because we're all kind of in the middle of a bidding war here. He's up to 7. Chris was trying to get him.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Dansby Swanson for $7.
Gonna do it.
Oh, gosh. Another one, too. I have Andres Jimenez in my middle infield. I have Tim.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's a great
it's
buy.
as good of a buy as Jorge Soler, I think.
I think it's better. I
have them both at $12.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Swanson a little bit more here. Gosh, every time I want to talk about your team, Chris, an interesting player pops up.
Okay, we can talk about my team.
All right, so go over the players that you have, unless you want to bid on Jesus Lazaro and tell us what you're thinking. The players that you have, and then we'll get to your pitchers.
I've got Pete Alonso at 18 at first base, Manny Machado at 29, Xander Bogaerts at 25, Jose Ramirez at 43, Marcell Ozuna at 25, Byron Buxton at 9, Oscar Mercado at 1, and Ian Happ. So among those hitters, I think all but Mercado are inside of my top 120 overall. And Alonso, Machado, Bogaerts, Ramirez, and Ozuna are all inside of my top, I want to say 60, maybe 50. So I'm really happy with that start on offense. And, I've I've got a little bit of speed, but I probably could use a little bit more. I've got, a good power base with Alonso, Machado, Ramirez, and Ozuna. I think I'm okay in batting average, and I don't think I need to sacrifice it for home runs moving forward. But, if I could snag someone like Jeff McNeil, it would make having someone like Miguel Sano a little easier to stomach. So, I'm still building, but I'm pretty happy with that start so far. There's a lot of star power in my offense.
I like your offense quite a bit. I think it's well-rounded. You mentioned you think that you need more steals. I think you look pretty good right now. I think Machado's 10 to 15. Bogarts is probably 10 to 12. I
don't love being in the 10 to 15 range for most of my stolen bases, just because that there's a very thin line between 15 and 5.
I hear you, but you also have Jose Ramirez, who's going to give you 20 plus. I feel very strongly about that. Buxton, if he stays healthy, I think will give you 20 plus. Yeah. Mercado can give you 10 to 15. So I understand the risk with taking too many of the 10 to 15 guys, but if you're going to go that route, you might as well get as many of them as you possibly can. And even Ian Happ will probably give you 5 to 10. So.
And Mercado's the only one who's like mostly a steal specialist. Everyone else, I think, are just good hitters. So I'm happy with that. I haven't had to sacrifice for steals yet.
And I'm going on a bidding spree right now. And all right, so I won Jesus Luzardo at $11. I won Raisel Iglesias at $8. And then I won Salvador Perez at $7. So Perez,
all around.
Perez went for cheaper than Wilson Contreras by $1. He went cheaper than Gary Sanchez. I wrote down I want to spend $8 or less on both of my catchers. So I wanted to get one of my top 10. And then I'm going to get a $1 catcher later on as my second catcher. So let's take a look at your pitchers quick here, Chris, and then I'll quickly recap my team and we'll get out of here because this has been going for quite a bit. Zach Greinke, you got at 19. You got Max Scherzer at 33. You got Sixto Sanchez at 11. And you have Yusei Kikuchi at $5. So you have...
Yeah, Kikuchi was just me getting frustrated and overreacting, and I shouldn't have done it. I should have just been okay not getting him rather than spending the $5. I wish I had one more 190 inning guy. Like Sandy Alcantara went for $1 less than what I've got him for. I really wish I had Sandy Alcantara on this team in addition to the other guys I have. That would make me like a $9 Sandy Alcantara, who I think is a good bet to throw 180, 190 innings and is one of the handful who I think really legitimately could throw 200. I would feel better about that if I had him on my team. And there aren't a lot of guys like that left.
Lance McCullers went for $11, so he goes for the same price as Jesus Luzardo. Chris, who would you rather have at the same price if it's Luzardo versus McCullers?
Oh, I like Luzardo more. I've got Luzardo ranked higher.
Yeah, I do too. By a few spots, nothing crazy. We are, who's going to wind up with Jeff McNeil here, Chris? You and me, buddy. And am I going to get him? And I get him for $9. So money's going. I only have $32. I have a $23 max bid. He is my starting second baseman, likely. So I do not want Devin Williams. So give me some time to talk about my team. So I'll just quickly mention I got Salvador Perez at $7. I got Jeff McNeil at $2. I don't have a first baseman yet. I got Alex Bregman at 23. I got Tim Anderson at 20. Andres Jimenez at $4. Mike Trout at 50. Tommy Pham at $10 and Dylan Carlson at $5. So
it's not bad.
I think it's pretty well balanced. I wanted to get McNeil there because I'm going to have to grab a few more power bats. That's going to bring my batting average down. Trout's going to help batting average. Tim Anderson's going to help batting average. Bregman should be.
You're really light on power, I would say.
Yeah. Yep. So
it's
I know.
A real concern.
I know I'm going to go for power. So
But that's probably what you can get the easiest late.
Yep. That's the plan. Hopefully here.
Maybe with Mike Moustakas. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Sneak in here with a little $3 bid. Oh man,
like to.
Who's going to be my starting first baseman, man? This is not the best. You hate to see it. Is it going to happen? And
okay. Yeah, you got some power there.
That's a good buy.
With the Moose.
All right,
I
so
don't like Moustakas.
I get Moustakas at $6, and he might gain third base eligibility. Suarez is playing shortstop. They're talking about using Jonathan India at second, their prospect there. So I knew I need some power. I need some more power, obviously. So that's something I'm going to pay attention to for the rest of the way. I don't have a lot of money left. I have $26. I still need a catcher and a few more outfielders here. Corey Kluber just got thrown out. But I think my offense is well balanced now. I feel pretty good about it. I wanted Jeff McNeil there for sure to be my starting second baseman. At pitcher, I currently have Lucas Giolito for $35. I have Luis Castillo for $34. I have Max Fried for $12, and I have Jesus Luzardo for $11. My first takeaway is that whip could be quite an issue here with this group of players, but feel good about strikeouts. Innings should be okay, maybe a little light with Fried and Jesus Luzardo there. Yeah, I will look for another just innings eater whip kind of guy that can help me out to fill out the rest of this rotation. I do have one closer in Raisel Iglesias. I wanted to get one of my top 10 guys. I have him ranked inside my top 5, so feel pretty good about that. All right, Corey Kluber goes for $7. That was to Adam. No surprise there. He got Devin Williams for $4. So Adam gets Devin Williams and Josh Hader. He handcuffs the relievers there. So if Hader is traded, he will have the next man up in Devin Williams.
And he could just get 220 strikeouts out of the two of them anyway.
I was gonna say it could be crazy, but it really wouldn't. It really wouldn't based on the talent level there. Anything else you guys would like to say? Any closing thoughts here before we wrap up this extravaganza?
I wish I had been more aggressive on some of the early starting pitchers. That's the biggest thing for me. I wish I had been willing to do.
Soroka. Sorry. $4. Excited about that. Think I'll be back pitching in April.
It's not bad. Mike Soroka there. So you get a little bit more depth on your pitching staff. All right, we're slowing down here quite a bit. So we'll wrap it up here. I don't know how we're going to break this into 2 podcasts, but if not, you're just going to get one really super long, nearly 3-hour podcast. Thanks for everyone who watched along the way. If you want to find the rest of the results, they will be on the website as early as Wednesday morning when you are hearing this podcast. And I will go back in and put the draft results in the podcast description as well. So thank you all for sticking with us for this long. For Scott and Chris, I am Frank. Thank you all for listening and watching Fantasy Baseball today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.